Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cantina Social Hour on this fine Friday night. How's it going? Welcome to the show, everybody. It's great to be here. It is great to end my work week here in the Cantina with you guys, hanging out, talking toys, talking Star Wars, talking some hot toys, just having a good old time here in the Cantina. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to be here. I'm very excited about this evening's guest that we're going to have on here in just a couple minutes. Before we do that, once again, welcome. Happy Friday. Thank you guys for spending your Friday evening with us. We really appreciate it. It means the world that you are here with us. The Cantinians are the best. And each and every one of you, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I really, really appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. So before we see who's with us tonight, let's go ahead and do a couple of housekeeping thingies here. So first of all, you guys know the drill. As per usual, if you want to save a little bit of money on your Entertainment Earth orders, in stock orders, please be sure to use promo code Victoria. That's going to get you another 10% off. Last I checked, they had the latest wave of the vintage collection available. I don't know if it's still in stock as of this show, as of this live, as of this very moment in time right now, but it was in stock. And if it's still in stock and you need to pick that up, use that promo code, get your 10% off. And I mean, we got to save, right? We collect everything. Some of us, we collect a lot of stuff. We collect the vintage collection, hot toys. Some of us go into Black Series. Some of us go into Marvel Legends and all manner of things. So, every little bit helps. Get your 10% off. Next thing I want to mention is there is going to be a Hasbro stream that's going to be coming up from Hasbro. This was just announced this week that they're doing their own stream, another Hasbro Pulse fan stream to announce presumably some new product. I don't know exactly what they're going to be talking about. I assume, as per always, it's going to be the vintage collection in the Black Series. Maybe there'll be some role play stuff. I really don't know. We'll have to tune in and see. February 26th at 11 a.m. They're going to be doing that. So that's going to be next Wednesday, and then they're going to have pre-orders following that. So it'll be exciting. Hopefully there's some cool stuff. Hopefully there's some more Cantina aliens or characters to populate our upcoming HasLab Cantina. I think that would be great. And hopefully there is going to be some stuff to fill in the gaps, right? Fill in the gaps with some of these collections that we've been building for all these years, collecting the vintage collection, because there's a lot of gaps that need to be closed. So I will be eagerly tuning into that. I hope you will be as well. In addition to that, I do want to announce something really cool, something pertaining to a guest that I'm going to have on the show very soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but I'm just so excited about it. So I do want to officially, at the very least, announce it and let you guys know. So Ayla Secura herself, actress Amy Allen, who portrayed this Jedi that back in the day, many fans were very, very enamored with and excited about. Amy Allen is going to be making her appearance here in the Cantina very soon. As soon as I have a date, we're looking at March. I will let you guys know. I'm very excited about it. I got to meet her at Star Wars Celebration 4 back in 2007. I actually have a picture. I want to show her. I doubt she's going to remember me, but I do want to talk to her and talk about Star Wars. And we're going to focus really on Ayla Secura collectibles, figures, any kind of collectibles relating to her character. We're gonna talk about. So I'm really excited about that. So as soon as I know the date, I will let you guys. You'll be the first to know. You guys will be the first to know. It won't be Instagram. It won't be Facebook. It won't be YouTube. It'll be Cantina Social Hour. You guys will be most likely. You'll be the first to know when that's going to happen. Other thing I want to mention here. Did I hit all the? No, I guess that's it. I guess that's all. So last week I had fully intended. I told you guys that I wasn't going to do a Valentine's night stream because I wasn't. I mean, it's Valentine's Day was on a Friday night, which is super, super rare. I wasn't going to do that. So I intended to do it on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, I got sick. I got a cold. When you're around, working with kids all day, you get sick a lot. And I got sick. So pretty much over it now, like 90% or so. Well enough to be here. But I wasn't well enough to do that Wednesday last week. But here we are. Life goes on. We're still doing our thing. And yes, so sorry that you guys missed a show. I'll try to make it up somewhere in the year. You guys know last year we had 46 live streams, I think. We're gonna keep going. There might be even more this year. I don't know. We'll make it up for sure. All right, tonight's topics that we're gonna be covering. There are some Disney Store / Disney Parks droids I want to talk about that we have not talked about so far. There's a new Epic World of Action Star Wars figure. You guys know what that is, right? The Epic Heroes line, the Power of the Force campaign thing. I want to mention that there's a new Mondo Ghostbusters pre-order to talk about. We got some Jazzinc, I guess kind of preview reveals. I don't really want to call them reveals because maybe some of them are, but we'll touch on those. We got Hot Toys, and we'll talk about brand new Hot Toy announcements, and then we will talk about Revenge of the Sith 20, which you see here in the banner. That's kind of our main focus tonight. Is that's like our main segment. We'll be talking about what will Hot Toys do for Revenge of the Sith 20. We know we want Hasbro to do stuff for Revenge of the Sith 20. Will they? I don't know. I'm just here to talk about this stuff and react to it, obviously. I hope they do. But we're going to focus on Hot Toys tonight. And yeah, I am super, 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 super pumped. And yeah, I'm really eager to bring tonight's guest in, but I'm going to keep you guys waiting for just a minute longer because I want to see who is in the cantina tonight, who's hanging out with us. Dodson is always first in the cantina. I don't know how he does it. This guy is always like he makes me look bad because I'm never like right on time with this show. I'm always like 5-10 minutes late. So Dodson, thank you. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you had a good week. And he's got a cup of blue milk and a night in the cantina. What a great way to wrap up the night. I love it. We got Adam in the house. Adam, how are you doing? Good to see you. It's great to see you back. Thank you for moderating. We really appreciate you. I know everything's going to go smooth as it typically does, but just in case, things devolve in any way, shape, or form or go down the Arctic Batman route, Adam's going to be here to handle things. We got Peak Obi-Wan in the house. Hello, Peak Obi-Wan. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. We've got who else is here with us? We got Rick hanging out. Hey, Rick. Good to see you. TGIF indeed. Good, sir. We got Jeffrey with us. So you have to wonder, is the Dark Jedi making an appearance tonight or maybe the 13th Skull? Ooh. I mean, it's Cantina Social Hour. I mean, we're live. Anything can happen. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see very shortly. We got Trevor in the house. Hello, Trevor. Thank you for hanging out tonight. We got Allison with us. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for being here. Palpatine 1975. Happy Friday to you. We have Mary with us, our good friend Mary. Hello, Mary. Thank you for being here. We got Britt with us. Hey, Britt. Good to see you. We are off to a great start. We got Road Killer with us. Hey, Road Killer. How are you doing? We got Miles with us. Cheers. We got 22. The Star Wars Heroes line should be 100%. Have a plethora of droids and creatures to help filter the TVC line. We got Valkyrie with us. And we've got, we're off. The horses are off to the races. I'm finally nailing this thing after butchering it miserably for the last year or so. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you guys waiting any longer. I know you're excited. I know I'm excited. And, I love when we have guests in the show that return, especially when they haven't been on for a while, because it's great to catch up. Everyone that's come on here as a guest has been fabulous, and made some really good friends and met some really great people by bringing good friends, fellow collectors onto this show, and hearing their collecting story, and hearing what they're up to, and seeing what they bring to these collecting communities. It's all great stuff. It's great to see everybody. So we are going to go ahead and bring him in.
This is where the fun begins.
You have to wonder, is it possible that the Dark Jedi himself, Aries Tarrington, aka Sixth Scale Cantina, is in the green room waiting to come into the Cantina and hang out with all the Cantinians?
And I say, yes. What's going on, Victoria?
Hey, Aries. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on this evening.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I am so pumped to be here. I mean, I'm so busy searching for these ancient action figures. I just have had no time to go live. But I am so excited to finally be live again. And I am armed with wizard juice, extra potent wizard juice, Jawa, off-world Jawa tea, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And yes, I got coffee. I'm actually treading water in the coffee right now, so because I spilled most of it.
Nice. I love it. I love seeing all the beverages. As for me, I have some melted Hoth Glacier right here.
Ooh, come on.
Straight from Hoth. And then I have this intergalactic favorite, or so I'm told it's an intergalactic favorite that comes from some far off planet in the galaxy. I've never seen it before. I think it says Dr. Pepper. I mean, I heard that it's really popular over on Coruscant right now. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to Coruscant, but that's what they tell me.
I keep hearing from this representative of this Dr. Pepper that this Dr. Pepper wants to be a panelist on Ancient Action Figures Season 2. So you never know. Maybe Dr. Pepper is going to, make an appearance in the spring.
That would be interesting.
On that season.
I'd love to see what Dr. Pepper is like, see what he or she is like in person. That'd be interesting. Or maybe it's an alien. I don't know. Could be a Wookiee. I mean, I have no idea. But yeah.
I was going to try and do a Wookiee sound, but we won't put it.
Adam says Dr. Pepper's a colleague of Dr. Evazon. It could very well be. Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm like I said, like I told you before, I think you have been more requested to return to the Cantina than anyone else, like in the last few months. Like people are like legitimately asking through the chat, like or sending me DMs, like, when is Aries coming back? We want to see Sixth Scale Cantina make an appearance. And I was like, well, we're working on it. We're talking about it. We're going to find the right time, and we're going to bring him back. And well, here you are.
Well, I am really so gratified to hear that, and very humbled. I appreciate it. I love being here, and I've always enjoyed coming on your show. So that's great to hear. And so, hello to everyone out there that's tuning in. And I'm just like so excited to talk toys and collecting and 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. I can't believe it's been 20 years, but I'm just excited. Let's go to the dark side of the moon, baby. Come on.
Let's go to the dark side. Yeah. So yeah, you've been doing a lot of things on your channel. There's a lot going on. You have the different personalities that come in and try and give us little tidbits of information here and there. Tell us what's been going on over at Sixth Scale Cantina lately.
There are a lot of personalities, right? And you have to ask yourself, just where do these personalities come from? But look, I think we're all on a quest. These characters come together in search of these ancient action figures. Because honestly, if you're into the Sixth Scale game, and certainly it's happening with Hasbro and a bunch of stuff, but just talking about 6 scale, and the collecting hobby is changing right before our eyes, obviously, with this crazy economy that we're in, Victoria, right? And everybody who's watching these prices that are increasing, these demand that is increasing because production is so much lower. It's been very interesting to navigate. But what's going on the Cantina is I try to make it fun because I really got into collecting because of how much joy it brought me when I was a kid. I mean, it was just so much joy. I loved these action figures, and I had a ton of action figures, but Star Wars was always my first love. And we would get together with a bunch of friends, and we would be recreating scenes from the original trilogy, or even mixing it in with dinosaur figures and GI Joe figures, or this figure or that figure, and we would just be making all kinds of things up because it was fun. Now we're adults. At least I think I'm an adult. I'm not quite sure. But I want to have fun collecting it too, because it gets so serious, right? When you start breaking down NRDs, and you're breaking down, shipping costs, and
Yeah.
budgeting everything out, and trying to, all this stuff. So I want to have some fun. So hopefully, I think a lot of people who watch 6 scale Cantina, um, they really appreciate that kind of twist that I try to put on this hobby and into collecting, because we got to have some fun while we're doing this. Otherwise, it's just stressful. And why are we doing it, right? So have a little bit of
Yeah.
fun.
It's got to be fun. I mean, I always say, if it ever gets to a point where collecting and, doing all this stuff is no longer fun, then it's time to find a new hobby. I mean, it's got to be fun.
For sure, for sure. So I think that's what's going on there. I have a lot of fun, quite frankly, doing it. And I love everybody who watches and tunes in and replies to that. And honestly, it's been a rough year personally, with different issues. Not anything that anyone else isn't going through, but I honestly just really have not had the time to go live. So I've been able to focus, though, a lot of that energy on the pre-recorded material, at 6 scale Cantina, and really spend some time investigating and studying trends in the hobby, because I think that a lot of the things that I say and a lot of the things that I suggest, they're not all going to come true, and they're not necessarily all correct. But it's very, very important to me to get a lot of empirical data, and try and gather a lot of research, and put a lot of analysis to the things that I'm pointing out. And I've been very, very fortunate that a lot of the data that I've been gathering and analysis that I've been assimilating, a lot of the things that has been going on with the 6 scale hobby anyway have been coming to pass. Um, and a lot of it is really data driven and putting the breadcrumbs together. But I do dare say there is a little bit of wizardry,
Hmm.
involved in it. There is these characters, the Hot Toys Wizard, the 13th Skull. Is it possible that they have some type of influence that kind of brings this knowledge to fruition? Um, you have to wonder. But yeah, you know that's my story right now, Victoria.
Right on. Well, I'm glad that you're keeping up with the content, despite everything else. And I mean, that's what, for me, that's what it's all about. Like, this is great. Like, I love this, therapeutic for me, like, to be here and like talking about toys and collectibles, and including everybody in the conversation that's taking the time to be with us and to comment here in the stream. But we do have links here in the description to your YouTube and to your Instagram. And there's also 6scalecantina.com. So if anyone wants to look at your site to get more information about like you were mentioning the chart standings on different hot toys, and what the prices on that are like. I mean, it's pretty amazing that you're able to keep up with all that, because it's a lot of data, a lot of information to compile and sift through.
Uh, it really is, Victoria. And honestly, we got a tab up there for the market chart, and it's not live yet because people have been asking me, hey, when does that market chart going back up? Well, it is going to be going back up. And a lot of the data that I collect, it stays collected. But it's a lot of work because not only am I putting the market chart back up for Star Wars, but all the IPs and everything for Hot Toys. And we're also going to be including in art as well. Since a lot of the collectors in the 6 scale hobby, since in art has come on the scene, are kind of gravitating to their figures along with the Hot Toys and their premium figures as well. So it's a lot of work to do that, because that's a lot of stuff, Victoria. So,
Yeah.
But right now, when you go on there, while that's under construction, you do have your market power rankings, which, sometimes, listeners, subscribers will ask, hey, what's the power rankings? It's not the best figure. It is the figures which are, having the most demand, that are
Yeah.
garnering the most demand. So you got the market power rankings, you got your crystal ball power rankings, which anybody can go ahead and vote on and have a say in. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a great little website. I love doing it.
Awesome. Well, if anyone's not familiar, definitely check that out. And like I said, the socials are for Aries are down here in the description. But yeah, let's go ahead and get our topics going here for the night. But I do want to say hello to a couple of folks that have come in. Spacehead Studio, hello. Shari the Unicorn, how are you doing? Good to see you. All right. So we're going to start off with not 6 scale. We're going to start off with some 3¾ inch Star Wars stuff, actually, that I have not yet covered. So the first one is a little droid figure that has, or I guess it just went out of stock a little while ago, it seems like. But it is the Disney droid R2BNE Star Wars Droid Factory figure. So I don't know if you've seen these, Aries, but these are Disney does their own droids, and they have for many, many, many years, but they tend to theme them like around Christmas, and then they tend to do some for Halloween. And now they're doing their first ever Easter droid, and it's this little blue, pink, and white droid friend here with some bunny ears that I think is just really, really cute. I mean, it's they had a free shipping thing going yesterday, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and order it, so it should be on its way. But yeah, I think this is it's wacky, it's weird, it's non-canon obviously, but it's just fun, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think it's cool as heck. And it's kind of funny as you bring these up. I know I'm going to start salivating at the mouth, because it's been a while since I really, 3¾ but that's where I started. That's my first love, if you will. And it's kind of interesting because I see the card back. So tell me, maybe I'm wrong, but wow, Disney is still. I mean, this card back has not changed for many, many years, right? It looks like the same Droid Factory card back from at least 10 years, right? I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but
I would say at least 10 years. Yeah,
wow.
It has not changed. They've been very consistent with it. I guess, it works. It's a format they already have on hand, and all they do is change the name, change the picture out, change the descriptor a little bit. But yeah, same packaging that they've been running with for years.
I got a question about these, and I know that they do them with like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, for instance, with Black Series, and with some of these 3¾ as well. But are they limiting these to like 1,000 or 500 or 3,000 pieces, kind of like the HasLab or some of these San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con exclusives? Or are they just same business as usual, just nobody knows and they put them out and that's it?
Yeah, I think these are just open ended. There's never been like a number assigned to these. They're just kind of an open release. But you get them either at the Disney parks or you order them on DisneyStore.com when they are available. And usually they are for at least a period of time. Um, so yeah, I ordered them, and hopefully it'll be here soon. Well, I'm sure it'll be here way before Easter. Easter's kind of late this year. But it'll be a nice little thing just to have like for springtime on the desk, a little desk companion, if you will. There's also another one. This isn't the only one, and this is actually one that we just caught wind of very recently. And this one here is another Disney store droid that I guess is going to be coming to the parks as well, and I guess is going to be released in the near future. There's not a date yet on hand for it, but that other one is going to be this guy right here. So this one is part of the Pride collection, which they come out with these droids too. They have been for the last few years. This is C1RN8W. I think it's supposed to look like it says rainbow. And it's an Imperial chopper style C1 droid. So this is they haven't done one in this coloration for this specific droid before, so it's a new release, and it looks fun as well.
It's slick. It looks slick. I get a feeling that it's possible this could be in the Easter Bunny astromech you had on before, that these are ancient action figures in the making. So there you go. That looks really slick and sweet, though. See, now you're making me be like, I couldn't afford this, Victoria, if I had to get into this and Hot Toys and the other stuff I'm doing. And I tell you what, whenever I see this stuff, it's like, oh.
I know, yeah. It's and they're fun, like this one too. It looks really nice. It's a cool black design, but I really like the little colors that they put on it, because it's like, to me it almost looks kind of like a like 60s 70s sort of like shades of those colors, like the lime green and like the dark orange and the deep red. And it kind of reminds me of like, if you've I'm sure you have like watched the Brady Bunch before, like when you go up their stairs they have like these stained glass colored windows. Like that's kind of what it makes me think of.
It's pretty, yeah, I could see that. Hey, it's this plastic addiction that we all have. Let me ask you this, Victoria, because I'm very curious. Do you go through the whole gamut with collecting with Hasbro, meaning Black Series, all the 3 3/4, like the Disney, the vintage collection, the regular? I don't even know if they have the anything regular anymore. But HasLab, do you do the whole 9 yards?
And I say, no, I do not. I do not do the whole 9 yards. I couldn't. I do all the vintage collection for the most part. I would say 99%, because there's always there have been a couple, like 1 or 2 items where I just haven't gotten because for whatever reason. But I'm pretty like 99% into the vintage collection. Also Black Series, I used to be all in on that when it first started back in 2013, when it was a very small line that only had like 3 waves per year, and it was very contained. But then around the time The Force Awakens came out, it just like exploded, and it became such a huge line for Hasbro. And it's like since then there's been hundreds upon hundreds of releases. So I pick and choose with that. If there's something that I can't get in the vintage collection, especially, that's kind of when I'll gravitate towards, okay, I want to own that character, even if it means that I can't have to get it 6-inch. Sometimes I'll do that. I buy some of their helmets. I buy some of their lightsabers. I don't really do the epic figures, which it's a 3 3/4 inch line, but it's like the 5 points of articulation sort of line. So it's more, it's supposedly intended to be more of like a kid oriented line. It's less expensive than the vintage collection, and they have a few vehicles, but I don't really get too much into that. I bought a couple of items, but I'm mostly vintage collection. At least when it comes to Hasbro, like that's where my attention it really is.
Well, I tell you what, and I haven't looked the last several months, but when I was looking just last year, wow, on the price of the original vintage collection on some of those figures up in the secondary market. You've got to be kidding me on how those have taken off. So let me ask you this. Are you happy with the vintage collection and what they're doing now? And do you think Hasbro is going to continue with that
Ooh, how much
for
time
the
do we have?
long haul?
Well,
I mean, I think it's their best line, personally, but
it is their best, absolutely their best Star Wars line. I mean, I posted something on my Instagram a couple of days ago, and it was regarding the Rebels figures that came with the Ghost and the HasLab Ghost. And I said, I've been collecting this line since the Power of the Force 2, which 1996 is when I started collecting the line. It came out in 95. I started collecting 96. It's been pretty much nonstop. There has not been more than a couple months probably that have gone by in that time that I've missed, Star Wars figure. Just because I've been like so absorbed with this line, and it through the quarter inch, that's like the bulk of my whole collection, not just Star Wars, but my whole collection. Like that's like the main thing, through the quarter inch Star Wars. I love the world building. I love the possibilities of 3 3/4. So that's where my heart really is. I mean, as much as I love my Hot Toys and some of the other stuff, it's like 3 3/4 inch. That's where my heart really is. So as far as Hasbro, like I'm happy with a lot of what they're doing. I do have some things I'm not particularly like thrilled with. Primarily, well, I guess 2 things. One of them is some slight declines in the overall quality of the product that we've seen in recent over the last couple of years. Declines such as lacking in paint applications on certain releases, and things like that, or reuse of older sculpts to make newer characters, where they repurpose figures from, say, a male-bodied Imperial officer to create a female-bodied Imperial officer. Things like that that don't come across to me very well. So that's one of them. The other thing I would say is the it's almost like if you will, like the ADHD of creating 3 3/4 Star Wars figures, in the sense that there's not a cohesive focus on completing certain crews for a dedicated, within a dedicated period of time. Going back to the post I put up yesterday about the Rebels, we waited 10 years to get Rebels action figures like these, and they're amazing. Most of them are amazing, and were they worth the wait? Possible. But at the same time, we waited 10 years to get them. And that I feel like is very, it's counterproductive to potential successes the vintage collection could have by capitalizing on, seizing on moments where the media is hot.
sure.
Not like the old days where, the 2000s and the 90s, where a new movie would come out and you'd see all the toys on shelves before the movie was even in the theater. Those were the old days. They don't do it like that anymore. When there's a new Disney series, usually they'll try to align a few figures with it. But they have a hard time completing crews. Like Rogue One is almost it'll be 10 years next year. And vintage collection, we're still missing. We have Jyn Erso, we've got Cassian Andor, we've got K2SO, we got Chirrut Emwe. That's it. We don't.
Hey, Hot Toys has the same problem, Victoria.
No, you're right.
Of these.
You're right. They never did bays, which is weird. But yeah, Hasbro hasn't done bays in TVC.
They haven't done Cassian either in Hot Toys, but yeah, no, I feel it.
They didn't do Bodhi Rook in TVC yet. Same with Solo. That movie, obviously it wasn't a huge success, but
it's still Star Wars.
It's still Star Wars, sure. But also we've only gotten a couple of figures. We got Han and Lando from that film, a couple of troopers as well. But we didn't get Kira, we didn't get Dryden Voss. For the Bad Batch, which is, how long has it been since the Bad Batch became a thing? Like 5 years now. And we've only gotten Hunter in the vintage collection. Like Hunter's
really?
He's all by himself. I don't even put him on the shelf because I don't know what to do with him. He's by himself. So those are the 2 things for me, like certain declines in quality, but also, lack of dedication to completing, certain segments within the line. I think they need to if you're gonna make like the Bad Batch, you're gonna make the Rebels crew or whatever it is. I think there needs to be a plan in place to put them out within a relatively short succession of each other. Because if we have to wait 10 years, you have to wait a really long time, then there's a whole host of issues that come up. Lack of interest being one of them, but also the technology improves. When you think of vintage collection figure, it looks incredible. A few years later, it's even better, right? It's potentially even better because of the advancements in articulation, the advancements in how the paint is applied. So if you have a 10-year-old figure sitting next to a 10-year newer figure, I mean, the disparity in the aesthetics is just very obvious. So, that's one of the things that makes it kind of difficult when they wait so long to do things like that. But
sure,
that's a long-winded way of answering your question, going down a Hasbro tangent, but if hopefully that answers it.
No, it really, really does, and it's great to see your passion with collecting. I mean, yeah, I mean, we're spending some hard-earned money and some expendable income on these collectibles, and we expect them to deliver what we're looking for. There's nothing more frustrating, in my view, when you can't complete a line. And when you're waiting for, as you're saying, for sometimes all these years, several years, 10 years, to be able to have a line be realized or whatnot. And I don't know. I mean, maybe they should have. Maybe they should have. What line were you waiting 10 years for again? What was it? Rebels.
Yeah, for the Rebels crew.
Maybe they should have done it earlier and just did like a HasLab and just said, "Hey, how many of you would like this? We'll do it right now." And they could have done that.
Yeah, and that's what it took ultimately, was doing the Ghost HasLab for them to finally give us those figures.
Are you happy with the HasLab mechanism, with what Hasbro's doing with that? And the reason I ask is because it looks like that there's some goodies you can get if everybody continues to contribute, but then if you don't make it to, it's like hitting that sledgehammer on that, amusement park, whatever you call that, gong thing there. And if it doesn't go all the way to the top, well, at least you get some or most of what you're looking for. But do you like that mechanism? Because people a lot of times will compare that to the queue with the artisan figures. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's a good and a bad thing. It's a blessing and a curse. HasLab, was started. The whole predication behind HasLab was that it would be a way for them to offer products that were not viable through retailers. You wouldn't be able to go to Target to find it or Walmart because it was too expensive of a product for them to offer. It was too big of a product for them to offer, and it just wouldn't be feasible. So the idea was, if we do HasLab, if enough people agree to support it, well, we'll make it, but it's only going to be, as many as the market dictates it needs to be, right? And then they'd give you incentives for more to be back. Like, well, if we get to this number, you get this and that. If we get to that number, we get, you get this and that. So the idea was, if they make more of these, well, then their profit goes up, right? So they start offering little, freebies here and there to be included. We honestly would never have gotten the sail barge without the HasLab. The Razor Crest, maybe in some form, probably not the one we actually did get. It wouldn't have been anything close to that. The Cantina, we may have been able to have gotten little, like, they do like the $45 price or $50 priced little scenes that you can buy, the little dioramas. They probably could have done a couple of those to build out a good portion of the Cantina, but it wouldn't have been to the extent of what the HasLab is going to be bringing. So, and then the Ghost, it wouldn't have been. There's no way they would have been able to have done the Ghost without a HasLab. So, if you're a fan of the HasLabs because you're a fan of the product and a fan of what you're going to be able to add to your collection, then it's absolutely a great thing. But if you are more of you're not fully committed to Star Wars the Vintage Collection, you're more of a casual collector, then it's probably a little more frustrating to to see figures that you want, paywall behind a $500 item. So I mean, there's good aspects to it, and there's not so good aspects to it. But I think on the whole, it has enabled some pretty positive things to happen that wouldn't have happened without the crowdfunding format. So ultimately, I'm okay with it. But I will say that, after having backed all of the Star Wars Vintage Collection HasLabs thus far, I probably couldn't continue doing it for a long time, because the products are they're huge. They take up a lot of space.
Oh
They're
yeah.
amazing, but I mean, if they do a Death Star next, I would 100% back a Death Star, but I can't say it anymore that I would back absolutely everything, just because of the space issue. I just wouldn't have the space anymore to continue backing absolutely everything.
Oh, it's definitely a consideration. But a Death Star sounds pretty damn good, man.
Yeah.
That sounds that would be kind of pretty awesome. But no, good stuff. Yeah, very very. I look at a lot of this stuff. When you're talking about what Hasbro vintage collection, the Disney figures, the Black Series, Hot Toys figures, Star Wars in general. Is it possible with these three movies that they are apparently making, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, they got another movie and another movie. Um, you know, if the popularity of Star Wars really starts taking off again in the general public, not to say that it isn't. I mean, it's Star Wars, it's popular, but there's not a whole lot right now. It seems like since the Mandalorian has went to this movie scenario, or not having a season 4, that was all the craze was Grogu
Hmm.
and Mandalorian. It was just the craze. And I'm not saying it's not the craze right now, but it's just not relevant at the moment. And there hasn't
Right.
been a movie, it seems like, in forever, even though Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker was not really that long ago. But I guess COVID, the pandemic, everything has made everything kind of losing track of space and time. But I
Yeah.
almost feel like Star Wars is at this place where it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, they have some shows. Oh no, it's not Mandalorian. Where's the Grogu? And I wonder, if it takes off again. How about, when HasLab presents these things? Is there going to be even more besides the regular collectors like yourself that are going to jump in and be like, oh,
Right.
I want that because I'm just all into Star Wars now, and then everything starts taking off, and then you're talking about some of these retailers where some of these items wouldn't work at some of these places, whether it's Target or Walmart or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it takes off again, even though it seems like that it's an older generation more into the toys. But I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I wish Star Wars nothing but all the success in the world. I Star Wars was always like special, right? Like you'd get a movie every when it was the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy, even going into the beginning of like the sequel trilogy, like Star Wars was an event, right? It was always like a very special thing. It was the
Yeah,
kind of
man.
thing all the family would get together, and we're gonna all go to a movie to see the new Star Wars.
Bring your
Um,
lightsabers to the movies. Yeah.
yeah, bring the lightsabers. We're gonna go Midnight Madness and get all the toys
Come
and
on. Yep.
and all that. But it's not that anymore. Like
No.
it's I found something to enjoy out of all the Star Wars content they've created. Some I like more than others, but I think that
Mhm.
it's gotten to the point where the saturation is just it's a little too high for it to maintain that level of feeling like something really special and an event when it comes out. So I mean, I would never say no to, oh yeah, give me this series and that series and season 2 and 3 of this. I'd love that, but at the same time, I think if I think Star Wars needs to always feel special and always needs to feel like an event. And I think, maybe it needs to kind of take a little bit of a break and then come back in a very do what it did with the Mandalorian, like come back in a very like exciting, fresh way where you're bringing new people in that are going to sustain it for further years to come.
Yeah, I agree. And my personal opinion, and because I love all the new shows and everything that they're doing. I feel like from a business perspective, though, they kind of made an error in not just sticking with the Mandalorian. There's an old saying: if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So a lot of people would say with the sequel trilogy after The Force Awakens that it was broke. So they put a lot of time and effort into fixing it, and they did fix it with Din Djarin and Grogu.
Hmm.
But then they decided to go, I feel, in different directions, and they veered off of that. And it was a little perplexing to me from a business perspective, saying, "Hey, you got every kid and uncle and aunt and grandpa and grandma and everyone into this Grogu character. It is
Yeah.
a phenomenon, almost like the eighth wonder of the world, and then you just decide to not do it, and you're getting into all these other shows, and then you're putting out a movie, which I'm excited about, but I can't for the life of me not understand why they just didn't stick with it and let it build. Because I feel like if they just would have let it build and they just would have came out with a movie right now or next year would be the time to come out with a movie. It's like, oh yeah, it's Star Wars. Boy, they really rebuilt themselves with that Grogu
Yeah.
character and Mandalorian. Let's go see that.
Right. There's things I really liked about season 3 of Mandalorian, but imagine if it ended at season 2, where you see Luke Skywalker come in and defeat the Imperials, take Grogu into his care, and then it ended there until the movie, and then that's when you get to see the resolution of that, instead of it happening in the Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of casual viewers didn't even watch. I've had people tell me like, oh yeah, I watched season 3. How did you get Grogu back? Oh well, you had to watch the Book of Boba Fett. It's like, I think that was kind of a mistake to kind of do that. I mean, I appreciate the interconnectedness of the different series, but with a key plot point about a key character like that, that should have happened within the Mandalorian and not outside of it.
And I say you're right. You hit the nails right on the head with that. It would have been fantastic to go right to the movie to kind of imagine if we were waiting all this time to find out. I mean, you bring up a phenomenal point. If we were waiting all this time to find out what happened with Grogu or what happens with that, and they could, spill all kinds of, rumors, and people would just be chomping at the bit. I think that would have been an even smarter move because, yeah, Mandalorian season 3, I think where they missed it on that is you can't give the amount of fan service that you gave in season 2 and not try and not realize that the expectation is going to be just as high and you're going to have to meet that. So you have to have balance. So I agree with you. I think they should have held it off because they could have had some of that, some of those, those cameos. I mean, let's be honest with each other. You're bringing in Boba Fett, okay? You're bringing in Ahsoka. You're bringing in, Luke Skywalker. I feel like I'm missing. You're bringing in all these characters, and so everybody's, saying, "Well, who are they going to bring in next?" But you didn't in season 3. You're like, "Oh no, now we're going to do it where we're just going to not go there." I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. You're veering off the formula." Which brought you success. So I say I think they would have been better off doing what you suggested.
Yeah, I also think in a perfect world, they wouldn't have rushed into the sequel trilogy. They would have started with the Mandalorian, built that up, built the Ahsoka thing, kind of worked it within that era, and then built up to a sequel trilogy, episode 7, 8, and 9, that kind of piggyback off that, but then bring in like the OGs. Like, I think had they taken that approach instead, I think there would have been a more cohesive story to tell that probably would have been a little more gratifying ultimately. But I'm not in the in the creative meetings over at Lucasfilm and at Disney, like doing any of that. I have nothing to do with any of that. So all I can really do is I don't know, sit here and talk about it.
You would be both. Well, I think you should be invited to the creative board meeting or whatever it is, Victoria. I think that it'd be great. We should both get in there. Everybody in the chat, let's tell them what we're looking for. Come on.
I know. I'll be like, come on, guys. I mean, I collect all the toys. I mean, that's got to count for something, right?
Well, yeah. Well, and here's the interesting thing. It's the people like us and in the chat that made The Mandalorian the #1 show on Earth when it was out. So listen to the people like you're saying that are not in the boardrooms. If it's doing that and they're telling you what they want, season 3 had a little bit of a slip, but you know why? They want more season 2. Just put out season 4 and correct it. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, anyway, there's one more Star Wars figure I want to mention. And it is what I was talking about earlier. It's that 5 points of articulation line that it's probably been doing it about a year now, I would say. This is another figure that they're adding. So this picture comes from Yak Face on Instagram. Captain Brutus from Skeleton Crew, this is probably one I'll pick up because I don't know if they'll ever make this in the vintage collection, but I love the aliens and the droids and all the crazy, like, weird characters in Star Wars. Like, for me, that's what really makes Star Wars. So this is one that I think I'm probably going to pick up, and I'll be happy to have him, even if he's not on the shelf, because he's not, like, my OCD prevents me from putting him on the shelf with TVC figures. But it'll be nice to have him in any case. I'm all for Captain Brutus being a 3/4-inch action figure, because why not?
All right. So, were you saying that this line has been out for a year?
It's been about a year, I would say, maybe a little longer.
Okay. I will tell you, at least it reminds me of. I think that something like this from Hasbro has been out for years, because I believe they used to put this. I almost want to say it's like a younger kids line way back when they were doing the Black Series. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot what they called it, but wow, it looks a lot like those, or more like a heavy, clunky figure, like the old Power of the Force orange cards, but much more clunky than that. Wasn't there something like this? That 5-inch line going back 10 years ago too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Back in 2013, when they put the vintage collection on hiatus, and then Black Series was kind of their main focus. Yeah, they introduced a 5 POA line, which was kind of, back at the time, it was prequel figures and original trilogy figures. But then as time went on, they added a couple Clone Wars characters. And then when the movie started, like The Force Awakens, then they really put a lot of emphasis on this 5-point of articulation line. And that's what they were doing for the last, I think they did it from The Force Awakens all the way through Solo, and then they stopped doing those after that. And now they started coming back within the last about a year or so.
I like them. The problem is for me, like I said, it's like plastic drugs. or Oreos or whatever you want to call it, addictive. I just want to get all of these. I just love this stuff. Love it. Yeah, I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, he does. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time on Captain Brutus. I mean, he's not alive anymore. Thanks, Jod. You shot the dog character in the face. That didn't sit well. I mean, yeah, I know he was. I know that they were both bad guys. I know Brutus was like a bad guy, like, but.
Well, all I'm going to say is they cut Darth Maul in half, and he came back anyway. They blew the Emperor up in some kind of vaporized gas, and he came back. And
yeah, that is true. It still surprised at the time. It surprised me watching the Phantom Menace the first time in the theater. It's like, he died. Like, he was so cool. He was like the coolest character in the movie. He's dead.
Who, the Maul?
Maul, yeah.
Oh, I remember when Lucas was, because people were saying, "Is Darth Maul gonna come back?" And I don't remember what the quote was, but typical George Lucas style, with a little bit of antagonism, was he was cut in half and fell down a shaft or whatever. He is not coming back. Well, he brought him back.
He brought him back. Who? I mean, nobody's off limits. I guess, for coming back from the dead in Star Wars.
Oh God.
Um, the next item before we move on to 6 scale is this is from I was gonna say the wrong company. This is from Mondo. They've been doing these real Ghostbuster 6-inch figures. They're very pricey, but they're one of a kind. I've been buying these, or I pre-ordered the first set. I haven't gotten around to doing the second set yet. But these are the real Ghostbusters, which people have wanted for a long time in 6-inch scale. Mondo has the license to do it finally, but they're
Wow.
doing it at a very top tier collector targeted audience, with very, very, very high levels of precision and accuracy and detail. So with that, unfortunately, comes a very high price tag. This set, $202 pre-order. It's a timed edition. I think it's open for about a month. This is on the actual Mondo site. I think you can pre-order just the Egon Spengler figure by himself, if you go through their site, or also through other retailers like Entertainment Earth. You can get Egon by himself here for half the price, $101. He comes with a little ghost. But if you want the Boogeyman, which is something Kenner never did back in the real Ghostbusters toy line days, then you have to get the deluxe 2-pack here that comes with both Egon and Boogeyman.
Wow. Wow, I love Ghostbusters, and $202 I'm seeing there, pre-order, timed edition.
Yeah, for 6-inch scale, 12 scale figures, it's a pretty penny for sure.
Well, I think you're seeing that timed edition. Having these type of tags in this kind of economy, even if they've done it before then, is even more important and prevalent now, to try and put a sense of urgency to putting down a pre-order for these figures. I like this though a lot. I'm glad that Mondo. You said they're the only ones that have the license for this, Victoria, Mondo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I love seeing these timed edition, but I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of that with some of these high end collectibles, because it's a lot of money. Like, when you look at Hot Toys now, $202, which used to be you could get some figures going back not too long ago for a couple of $100, quite honestly. Now that's kind of like almost half the price of some of these figures with Hot Toys and in art that they're coming out with. And I don't know, for a lot of people that I speak to, Victoria, I don't know about you on your end, money's a little bit tighter. These current times than they were even just going back, during the pandemic, before the pandemic. It's kind of funny. Right before I came on your show, I'm hanging out with a bunch of friends, and we were just talking about how, hey, it's a little crazy. If you've been inside Aldi, if you've been inside Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart or the local supermarket, and it's just a little bit crazy right now. Some of the prices of groceries, things that we need and whatnot. And we were talking about, hey, what I used to come out going shopping with 8 bags, and it's not an exaggeration. If you're not being real savvy, it's going to be less than 4 bags. If you're using a lot of coupons or you're trying to go to the right places, it might be 4 bags, but it's literally like insane how much things have increased in price. So I think when you're talking about things like this, it makes it hard. And not because you're talking about space earlier when it comes to HasLab and some of these figures. And there's a lot of, collectibles where, quarter inch or this or that, or these dioramas, they're big. Well, it's not just the size, it's also the price.
Right.
We're going to get the money for all this.
Yeah, it's that's a huge factor. I mean, I see myself as time goes on, becoming more of a focused collector. Like,
Me too.
and I've been trying to do that, and I think in some areas I've succeeded at doing that, and some I've absolutely failed miserably. um,
Me
but I
too.
think like the expensive stuff is like one area where, you know, like hot toys, especially. Um, I think if I could commit to it and just focus on the films, like like the actual Star Wars live action films, didn't get into the Disney Plus, you know, just focused on the films. I think that's a very, I think that's pretty, would be fairly reasonable as somebody that, you know, collects that stuff. Um, when you consider all the Mandalorian figures, they've probably done more Mandalorian than anything else. Uh, and then you can build crews like from the Book of Boba Fett, from Ahsoka, from Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I mean, there's so much stuff that you could, that outpaces what they've done with the films. So I think if you could just focus on the films, you know, that would cut a lot of the excess of you know, it would save a lot of money. Um, but then you see some of this stuff and it looks so good. Like some of the Ahsoka stuff is just so good. So I mean, but I think, you know, certain things I'm reevaluating, you know, at this point. Like there's, it has to really make you happy after a certain point, you know. Like I said, I've been collecting the Star Wars since 96, and it's been nonstop since then. So I mean, I have a little bit of a collection. Like I've amassed a few things. Um, and space is a commodity that, you know, I don't have in a huge, I don't have a basement. I get so envious. I see people on Instagram with like a huge basement, like that they can have all their stuff, or a huge like room that's like the size of my whole house where they have everything.
Mhm.
And it's like, wow, that's amazing, and it's fabulous that they can do that. But I mean, you know, I mean, I, here in the urban area that I live at, you know, there's no way I would ever be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell you, for me, you know, what I've done for years when I'm trying to get into one thing or the other or streamline, you know, I sold a lot of stuff off to be able to focus on what I got to do, and I am honing in. Uh, you know, because that's the way to afford it, and you know, and that's always been the way that I've been able to afford it. You know, the thing about these 6 scale figures and some of the figures, you're like, you know, you have this up on the screen, the stuff you're going to put up, that's pricey. Um, you get hit with that bug. You know, I think we were cut from the same cloth with these figures, collecting wise. I know for me, it brought me so much joy. And then when you see something that looks like Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher exactly, or like that incredible looking Wonder Woman, WB 100 with the rooted hair, that our first artisan, if you will, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, this thing looks real. And I played with these toys all my life, and they look good and they're fun, but this looks like a real, especially now, especially right now. They look like real human beings. You want to talk about that artisan Anakin from Revenge of the Sith that's supposed to come out any day? It looks just like Hayden Christensen. Like, if
yeah,
you polled people in Times Square, all right, and you did a survey and you polled 1,500 people and say, is this from the film or is this a toy? I don't even know if you're going to get one person that unless they know Hot Toys, that's going to say, oh, that's a toy, because it doesn't look like a toy. What do you mean a toy?
right.
It doesn't even look like a statue. It looks like a movie promo shot, Victoria.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
get
it
hit
does.
with that bug, but what is that going to cost you with shipping and that? Over $500.
It's a lot of money.
And I know you got bit with it, because I know that your focus is 3 3/4. But when you look at some of these Star Wars or some of these Hot Toys like that, it's like, oh my god, it's like real. It's like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it sure is. It sure is. But you got to be able to manage and budget this stuff. Otherwise, it can take over your life really easily.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll just wake up one day and there'll just be so much stuff that you can't even like display or enjoy, right? Because it's just Anyway, I could go on to I could do a whole episode talking about that kind of stuff. But I guess let's get into sixth scale. Let's talk a little bit of sixth scale. So I want to touch on how much are you into or not into like the Jazzinc products?
A lot of the content that I watch, some of the shows that I go on, I know that they'll talk about the Jazzinc dioramas. I know that they put out that awesome, I believe it's the Millennium Falcon cockpit that
Hmm.
looks absolutely freaking incredible. I know they recently came out with, I think it was Batmobile and stuff like that. So very fascinated with those dioramas. I'll be completely honest with you. Um, Space would be a big thing. There are some pieces. I think they had, like I said, that Millennium Falcon cockpit. I think they got a couple other things. I was like, maybe I'll jump into that. Hot Toys as well. Looks like that they kind of tease like that N1 Starfighter. You wonder if they're going to put something like that out. But I also think about space, and my mind starts wondering, like, okay, I guess I could hang that from the ceiling, or I could put that in this other room here and have it kind of enter in there. And then my mind starts wondering, and I'm like, okay, if I buy that, am I going to want to get 5 or 6 more pieces? And is that 5 or 6 more pieces going to turn into a dozen pieces? And if it does, that's fine. Where am I going to put it? Maybe I don't got to put it anywhere. Maybe I put it in a box. I take some out like a Christmas tree. I have some out for a few months, and then I put it back and something else out. I don't know. But no, I'm very fascinated by it. So yes, I know what they are. I know what they do.
Right on. Um, hey Matt, how's it going? Um, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they do some amazing, amazing, amazing stuff, but oftentimes amazing stuff comes at a very high cost. What I kind of want to just touch on with regards to Jazz Inc. is, well, they put out this, they have a YouTube channel. I really appreciate any time a company, it doesn't matter who the company is. I really appreciate it when a toy company, a collectibles company, um, engages with its consumer base in a meaningful way. And
Hmm.
it could be as simple as Hasbro doing its periodic live streams, or it could be like Jazz Inc. putting out a full video talking about all the stuff they're working on. Like that's cool. I'd love to see more. I'd love it if Hot Toys would do something like that'd be amazing. But we know they're very secretive. And, they have their own ways. Um,
I'm working on
so
getting Howard on, but just
I know, right? Imagine that. Imagine if somebody could get Howard on a show. Anyway, Jazz Inc. put out this video a couple of weeks back where they were highlighting some of the items that they are currently working on. I'm not going to get into detail on these items, but there is a lot coming. If you're particularly a DC 6 scale collector, a Batman 6 scale collector, then they're working on a lot of stuff that you might be interested in. And I know a lot of folks are. So I'm just going to read through what he has here. So this is Yost from Jazz Inc. And he's going through all his items here. So 1966 project, which is the Batcave pieces, Batman versus Superman Bat Computer, which he does show in the video. You can actually look at it. There is the 1992 Danny DeVito Penguin, which I had Brother Cousins on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about that. And we're looking at some of the crazy pictures that they had put up of kind of a naked Danny DeVito in penguin outfit. They have the 92 Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, which that was, for me, that was like a grail level. Like I had to go in on that, and I did. That's going to be my like the second Jazz Inc. like purchase that I did make the pre-order. The second being the static Batman figure that goes inside the Batmobile.
and that's 6 scale that they're getting into, right? Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. That's interesting.
Yeah, these are 6 scale.
Yeah.
Animated Batman. So they're doing a 6 scale from Batman the Animated Series figure. It's going to have an interchangeable head. They show it in the video, the concept they're working with. 1966 Bat Cycle, die-cast tumbler, And then he mentioned that they don't have any license to do Star Wars anymore because they had done, like you said, they did the Millennium Falcon cockpit, a couple other like odds and ends, but they're not doing Star Wars anymore because I guess. And he was very transparent with, which I appreciate in the video. He said like, well, we're not making much money off of doing this stuff, so we're not going to keep doing it. And then let me hit
Diecast Tumblr.
We don't want the audio because we don't want to get copyright. So let's see. 1/6 scale 1989 Batwing. 1/12 scale 1989 Batwing. That's the one that I was like, oh, wait a second here. There's no way I could purchase the 6 scale Batwing, Michael Keaton Batwing. That would just take up too much space. I already have the Hot Toys Batmobile. It's not even on display. It's in storage because I have nowhere to put something like that right now. There's no way I could do a Batwing. But then he said 12 scale Batwing. And I'm like, well, I do have 12 scale 6-inch Batman figures that could fit in such a vehicle. And McFarlane Toys actually made a 1/12 scale Batwing. It was the one seen in The Flash. So I got to thinking, well, that is something I could potentially be very, very interested in, depending on, of course, price.
Right.
There was an update here on the 89 Batmobile. And then a couple other super exciting things. The first one, 1997 Uma Thurman Poison Ivy. All right, from Batman and Robin. I was like, okay, all right, now you've really, after that Batwing, now you've really got my interest here. Like that is something that could be potentially very, very, very exciting, but not quite as exciting as the very last thing that is on this list, and that is a possible 1966 Julia Newmar Catwoman, and possibly a signature edition like they did with the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
That's great to see what they're coming out with, and they do a great job with all these vehicles and everything like that. I am very excited to see how they do with the figures, because that's the first time that they're getting into figures, right, Victoria? Or am I crazy?
Well, yeah, like the Catwoman, I think is one of the first ones that they're doing. But yeah, I mean, figures isn't definitely a newer thing for them because they've been more focused previously on environmental pieces and vehicles.
Yeah.
But Julie Newmar Catwoman, like, okay, so like that really like got me pumped. I left a comment even on this video, and I was like all in, like make it a signature edition, which would mean that's like their one that maybe has multiple heads and such. I actually got to meet Julie Newmar just by chance a couple years ago, and I'm sure I've told this story here, but I was in LA. I was in her neighborhood, and I just happened to be walking around, and I thought I recognized her from the other side of the street, and I'm like, do I want to bother her? I'm like, usually my policy with celebrities is to not bother them. Like I've seen multiple people, here in SoCal, I've seen multiple people. And my general policy is I don't approach. I don't ask for photos. I just don't, right? I try to be as respectful as possible. But when it's freaking Julie Newmar, I was like, I broke my rule and I approached her. And I knew it was her, but I had to say, excuse me, are you Julie Newmar? And she was like, who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. My name is Victoria. And I was like, you actually autographed for me one time. You sent me an autograph one time. And so I got to talking with her, and she was very sassy, but she was fabulous. She was very, very genuine and real and hilarious and as awesome as one might expect. We probably talked for like 10 minutes. It was great. And she was just awesome.
That's amazing. This is all exciting, and I love seeing these other companies do this. And one of the reasons I'm excited for Yost and what he's doing here is I'd love to get your impression of the prototype of the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, because to me it looks absolutely unbelievable. It looks fantastic, and we've been looking for a figure like that for a long time. But the reason I want your opinion on it is because, is it possible if that figure comes out looking like that, and you got InArt coming out what they're coming out with, because I collect InArt's Lord of the Rings line, I'm looking up and I got Aragorn right in front of me here, rooted hair, and I've got Gandalf right in front of me here, rooted hair. I'm going to be getting Legolas this year. You can count on that, Victoria. But if you got Jazzinc that's going to be coming out with a heat like that, now all of a sudden you've got a few companies that are really like stepping it up next level, and I find it to be exciting because I think that competition, iron sharpens iron. You're going to be getting even more insane looking stuff in the future, which is going to hurt my wallet, and I may have to streamline more. I don't have to get into that, but I'm just saying, I find a way to collect. You find a way to collect. We all do. There's a lot of creative ways, but I'm kind of excited about all this stuff.
Yeah. No, that like I said, that was a grail. Like when they showed pictures of that Batman Returns Catwoman, that was like, for me, that was like a grail. Like that was something that I was gonna get no matter what. It didn't matter like what it was gonna cost. It didn't matter how long I was gonna have to save. It didn't matter what I was gonna have to sacrifice. Like and I did sacrifice certain things that I could have pre-ordered. That I was like, nope, I got that. I have that other pre-order that I absolutely wanted above everything else. Like I think when you really get down to it, like if there was one 6 scale figure character of any franchise that I could ask for and have, it would have been the Batman Returns Catwoman, because that's my favorite Batman movie. I know that's not typical for most, but for me, that's when I was a kid. That was Batman. The Tim Burton Batman, and I just have a lot of nostalgia and a lot of regard for those characters, for those versions of those characters. So yeah,
so that's the one for you. That's like your that's the cream of the crop. That's the big enchilada. That is the holy grail. You're saying is the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
Yep, 100%.
I can tell you what mine is, because that one I will tell you is without a doubt an ancient action figure already. But you're gonna laugh, and we don't have it. We do have it, but it's not up to par. I'm just going to be honest, even though I have the figure. But when we get that artisan, farm boy, Luke Skywalker, that is my big enchilada, the cream of the crop, the original 12 back with the picture of Luke looking up at the two suns, baby. Know what I mean? Out in the Tatooine. And please, Hot Toys, Howard Chan, JC Hong, if you are watching in this universe, some other universe, wherever the heck you are, go ahead and give us an artisan farm boy Luke. And that's the last figure I'll ever need, baby.
I mean, that right there has the potential to break the internet. Like, honestly, everybody in every Starbucks location, every coffee shop around the world, their cup would just spill with that getting announced.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, there'd be a flood, a worldwide flood of coffee. Not only in your cantina, this cantina, all across the world, every major city, the oceans will just turn into coffee. It'll look like chocolate milk, but hey, whatever. No, that Farm Boy Luke, come on. And I have the Hot Toys original one, and believe me, it's a great figure. But it is, all these 2.0s are coming out with that jump to that. But this Catwoman, like the excitement of that Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, because how long we've been waiting for that from Hot Toys. But it looks like Yost is doing it. It looks freaking great, and yeah, it's exciting. You know that Farm Boy one is coming. I mean,
yeah, that 100% would be coming. And can we just speak for a moment about the how much Yost is giving Batman Returns Bruce Wayne in this video?
Oh gosh, well, it's too bad we can't have the audio on there, but gosh, look at that. And I didn't even realize that he put Jazzinc put it out with their own with their own channel. I'm gonna have to check this out by myself, but I'm so glad you went over that list.
Yeah,
Um,
exciting.
it's too bad it's not doing the. Is it more the license thing with the Star Wars? I know it's a hard license to. It's hard to compete with Hasbro with that. And honestly, I believe that it's Hasbro that allows Sideshow and Hot Toys through Sideshow to actually do the figures that they do. I think that that's what I understand from talking to a lot of people who are in the know with that. It's like, hey, um, Hasbro really controls the license, and then they'll allow some of these companies. Like Sideshow has their Star Wars line, and these others to do it. But I think everybody gets a cut somewhere, which is, I guess, be hard to make money too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. I'm eagerly. I'll be awaiting. Whenever they put out like promo images of all this stuff. Even if it's stuff I'm not buying, like I love seeing what companies are doing. Just like whether it's in art or Hot Toys or whomever. Like there's just so much like top notch high caliber stuff these days that these companies can do. So it's really refreshing to see. It's really great to see. But
I agree.
yeah. So I guess let's get into Hot Toys because I just kind of want to. Well, initially I want to touch on just catch up with the news. So I'm going to pull up Sideshow site, just kind of see what's new, what's cooking since we last talked Hot Toys a few weeks back. So I jump over to their site. There's some new stuff. We got a new T800 from Terminator. There's a 2.0. And this is a non-battle damage version, right? Because I think they had the battle damage version, which went up a couple months ago.
I will tell you that I recorded my latest market show, and I recorded it Sunday, and I drank some wizard juice, and I actually think it was this wizard juice right here. So let me go ahead and just crack that open. So you see the stars are moving right now. And it's in this video. Everybody can go and watch it. I think some of the people in there that watch my shows, Mary Sullivan, Charlie the Unicorn, Eric Henke, you probably heard me say, in this, I said, is it possible that at any moment we're going to be getting a T800, the non-battle damage version of our Schwarzenegger? And sure enough, on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, the wizard or the 13th skull or some of these stars kind of had some knowledge to this. And there you go. I mean, and it looks absolutely. Did you see this, Victoria? It is freaking unbelievable looking.
Yeah. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures. It does look fabulous. I think I don't know if my mom's watching. Sometimes she watches the show, but I think this is one she would probably like encourage me, maybe even if just by sending the telepathic like Gopher vibes out into the universe, which might travel to me from multiple states away. I think this would be one that she might like put it out there that I should possibly pick up because this is good. He looks freaking good. They nailed the likeness on this one.
Are you getting this one? Are you thinking about it?
I was initially. I did not pull the trigger on the battle damage version. I had been and I am still considering it. I try not to deviate too much from Star Wars, except for Batman. I do, a good bit of Batman. I have a few Marvel. I did pick up the Jack Sparrow, not the Artisan, but the I think it's the DX, the 38, the one that just came out.
They're all so good.
Yeah, I wanted the Artisan. I was heartbroken that I wasn't able to get through the queue when that went up for pre-order, but I did get the DX38 as a consolation prize, and I haven't opened it yet, but from what I've seen on YouTube, it still looks amazing, even if it's not the Artisan.
Open it. I got him right in front of me right here. It is unbelievable.
Is it the 39 or the 38?
No, the 39. I was very lucky to be able to get.
Yeah, I saw your video.
Did you see that video? Yeah. I mean, that's an ancient action figure.
That's a grail for sure. That's a grail.
God. I cannot tell you how real it looks. But looking at this, I mean, I'm just like, and no, I really want the battle damage version, but now that I see this, I don't think I could get them both. I think I'm going to get this one because this. I mean, this is I mean, pop culture, right? I mean, this IP, this is iconic. I feel like I need to have this in my collection. I think for a, you know, display, when people go through my display, having him, not that I don't want the battle damage, but that's more of a icing on the cake. I think this would just be, this just looks insane.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It
The
looks
2.0 and everything, everything. So, this was, a DX, right? All these are getting, the Darth Maul that came out.
yeah.
And I don't know. I'm debating getting it because I got the DX16, but it looks so much like Ray Parks.
It did. Yeah. As soon as they announced this new one, I sold my DX16 and I pre-ordered the.
Everybody's trying to do it now.
Yeah. Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
And I'm also, I know we're not there yet, but when we get to the segment about Revenge of the Sith, I think I'm fixing to sell my deluxe Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan in the high hopes that they come out with a new one. I think I'm gonna.
I got a pretty penny for that when I got rid of it late last year because I knew that this was coming, and I'm so glad that I did. Although I miss them, but I know that. Well, we'll talk about it when you get to it.
Cool. Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. And it's also $290, which it's obviously it's pricey, but it's not an artisan, right? And I'm glad that it's not an artisan. So yeah, it's exciting. We got I'm gonna butcher the name. I've watched these shows and I still don't know how to say his name, but Seong Ji-han, maybe something like that. From Squid Game. So he's up now. We got Captain America from Brave New World. Have you seen Brave New World yet, Aries?
I am going tomorrow with 2 friends at 8:00. So I am excited to finally go see it. But I heard some very, very good things about it. I get to see Han Solo and Indiana Jones turn into the Red Hulk. So let's go, baby.
Absolutely. I got to see it. I went after work on Wednesday to go watch it, and I really liked it. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was fun. It was a solid movie. It was really good. I had a really
I
good
heard
time.
good things. That's great. I'm glad you liked it.
But yeah, no, Anthony Mackie in this one, he's fantastic. Like he killed it, honestly.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm really tempted after seeing it though, like to get this one. I don't know if I will, because like I said, I'm trying to be good. I have a Steve Rogers Captain America from Endgame, but I see this and I saw the movie and I'm coming off of it with the excitement and like, do I need this too? I mean, I don't know.
Well, make what's important. This is what I'm doing. I'm making my decisions, even though I decided not to get that new mall. Once I saw the video, so I'm like, darn, did I make the right choice on that? But it's important to do that because just like that Darth Maul, just like you're seeing with so many of these other figures, so if you keep going down that list or whenever you do, so many of these figures are hitting the wait list early. The production numbers are really, really limited. Whether they tell you they're limited in the queue and they advertise it, or they don't. As a matter of fact, even when they don't say it's limited to 4,000 pieces or 2,500 pieces or 1,500 pieces, many times they are. Make no mistake about it, that new Darth Maul 2.0, no matter which version you get, they are extremely, extremely limited because they just didn't make a whole lot of them.
Yeah. Did that one already go to waitlist, I think?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it really, really did. It really, really did. Victoria, give me 1 second and I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, absolutely.
1 second.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the movie was really entertaining, really fun. I don't know. I'm really considering getting this figure. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I would say one of the pluses on it. I mean, it is a little pricey. It is $375, but you do get the whole wing set. I was kind of hoping that they were doing a more of a collector edition version that didn't have the wings, because as much as you kind of have to have the wings, I know, but in terms of displayability, I don't know that I would be able to display it with the wings anyway. There's a picture in here that we see where he's got just the backpack, like for the wings. And I'd be completely okay with just displaying it that way. Just the backpack without the full wings on display. But yeah, I don't I kind of like if they would have done just a collector edition just with this backpack, because that probably would have been the way I would have gone. But the fact that it does have the wings, I just don't see myself being able to display the wings like that. So not sure. I'm going to think about it a little bit. And it's the same thing with the Terminator. It's like one of those things where I'm trying to focus a little bit more, but I don't know. A couple other items that went up for pre-order. Iron Man Mark III golden color version. I think this is just one of those hot toys, like let's make a gold Iron Man. And that is already on wait list. There's also the Blade figure from Deadpool and Wolverine. That's a pre-release, $290. We have a Kamen Rider, a couple of versions with the motorcycle by itself, figure by itself, a couple of versions of the figure, Rider 1, Rider 2. 007 coming soon. I'm really eager to see what Aries has to say about 007 coming to Hot Toys, because that could possibly be interesting. There's so many ways that could go. Yeah, and I think it was in the news just this week that 007 got picked up by a different studio, or a different production studio got the rights to making those films. So I'm sure we're going to see content from 007 sooner rather than later, since anytime a company like an entertainment company gets a hold of a license, they're just itching to create something new, a new show, a new movie, a new this, a new that, new merchandise. So I'm fairly certain we're going to see something 007 related very soon with regards to Amazon. Thank you guys, Charlie and Mary. Yeah, I'm pretty certain they're going to do something with it. It could even well be that they do a 007 Amazon Prime series, since it's Amazon. I mean, I could see that being a thing. But then you get into the whole thing of the casting, and it's going to be all new, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Other figures. I'm trying to remember when I was talking with brother cousins, like how far back we went, and I think we covered everything before the 007. Aries, what are your thoughts? 007, what is Hot Toys going to do with this? Are they going to stick to a certain version of the character? Are they going to go way back? Are they going to go more recent? Is it just kind of it's interesting that they put it on here. So obviously they have some product they're probably going to be announcing pretty soon.
Yeah, no, I think the way that they're being a little bit high level and generalized with it, to me, is a clear indication you're going to be getting Daniel Craig, Roger Moore, Sean Connery, just about Timothy Dalton, probably all of them, and some other interesting characters as well, perhaps villains, from 007. So I think that this is a line that they makes sense right now, because what have I been saying on my channel? I thought they were going to be doing is getting into more and more announcements. Last year was the most Hot Toys announcements in the history of Hot Toys. Not only the most announcements, which was well over 100, the most exclusives and limited editions and numbered figures that we've ever seen in the history of 6-scale collecting. But what I've been saying is more and more announcements, less production of those announcements, and more 2.0s and different variations. And 007 fits in perfectly in every one of and all of that criteria for that. I actually don't even think that 007 is where it's going to stop. I would love to see them get into, and I think they would do fantastic with like a Space 1999 or a Buck Rogers, or let's take it a step further and talk about Battlestar Galactica, because not only do you have the 70s Battlestar Galactica, where you have Lauren Green and Dirk Benedict and Richard Hatch, You could utilize Richard Hatch too with the new Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined one with Edward James Olmos and Katie Sackhoff. Oh, they're already doing that. They have a likeness of her with Bo-Katan, from Hot Toys. Really the way that they were doing and producing figures, 50,000 to 100,000 copies or 40,000 copies. Battlestar Galactica does not make sense. 007 does not make sense. They're not going to sell enough Daniel Craig, to one collector on one line to do that. But with these less production, more announcements, and more retooling, 007 makes perfect sense. So does Battlestar Galactica. Howard, what are you waiting for? Announce that you're diving into it. I need my Starbuck. I need both Starbucks. Put out a 2-pack, baby, of Starbucks. Let's get Katie Sackhoff and Dirk Benedict. Let's go. I'll spill all my coffee. It won't exactly be the artisan farm boy Luke. It'll be darn close.
Yeah, that would be something. And you mentioned Edward James Olmos. I saw Edward James Olmos at the mall one time. He was shopping at Victoria's Secret. I don't know what he was buying. I don't know. I don't know what, he was there. He was shopping. He did buy something. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. 007. Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, we'll see what they end up doing. Did you see this preview just a couple of days ago? This very exciting peek at Red Hulk.
Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Oh yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see this movie tomorrow. And yeah, I saw that peek, and I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of figures coming out with Harrison Ford likeness.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. I think we're going to be very, very happy. But this looks insane. This looks sick, and I think they're going to be invested in this Captain America: A Brave New World line. I really, really do. Just like they were with, and still are, I believe, with the Wolverine and Deadpool. So,
yeah,
no, this is nice. I wonder what this is going to be. How much?
Yeah, I wonder. This would be interesting.
Artisan Young Indiana Jones, and I say, yes. And I'll be honest with you, I think they can even go young Indiana Jones from the new Indiana Jones movie, because they had the deep fakes from the beginning of that that film. I know they're coming out with this Indiana Jones, the one that's due to come out, the older version from the last film. But yeah, they could do some Last Crusade stuff. And I'm just going to throw out about this 007. You could do a Sean Connery from Indy's dad, and then you could kind of use that likeness a little bit. James Bond. I don't know. We can spin this in a lot of directions, but I think they can.
Sure. For sure. I did order I pre-ordered the Dial of Destiny Indy. So I know that one keeps getting like pushed back. But I did order that one. If assuming they did do a Raiders of the Lost Ark version or an artisan version, like that would just be like, that would be an easy sell for me. Like I would definitely cave into, because like it's kind of, for me, that's like Jack Sparrow. There's certain characters outside of Star Wars, DC, and Marvel to an extent that they're just characters that I just would put in like my top 10 all-time characters, and that would be one that I would just like, yes, give me.
Well, Victoria, they did 2.0, the DX, what is it, 11, or was it the Artisan Joker? DX05 is that Indiana Jones. Is it possible that would be insane? We're seeing all of this come to pass. I really think any minute you're going to see the Jack Nicholson Joker get 2.0. It's happening.
That, I mean, it wouldn't even need to be an artisan, but if it was an artisan, like
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking artisan with that one, but they could do that, right? Yeah, slick back.
I would love. I don't have the previous Jack Nicholson Joker. I would love to get that as a 2.0. You have the artisan Dark Knight Joker, don't you?
I sure do.
Yeah, and
It's
I do too, and it's incredible.
it's like right
uh
there. Yeah,
oh
there he is.
yeah. Let's highlight you right here so you can see it a little bit better.
He's kind of up right there. See my
Mm.
finger? Yeah,
Oh yeah, I see him.
there he
I
is,
see him
right
for
there,
sure.
holding his jacket up. There's the Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's Superman. I need a 2.0 of that, but anyway.
Oh yeah, we need that too. And while they're at it, why not a 2.0 Adam West Batman and Burt Ward Robin? But
Oh, I
now
think
I'm
that
just
that's
thinking of now I'm just seeing dollar signs though. I'm talking about all these potential like figures that they could do. I was like, okay, space them out, not all at once, please. Um, but yeah, no, that Joker is like he's so good. He's so good.
I tell you what, I think I'm going to release it. I have a review on that Joker, the DX33. So I think I may do a mass public released review on that one. It is just unbelievable. I'll be honest with you. I don't think in my view on that figure, um, I think it's the best figure I've ever seen. It is scary how much it looks like Heath Ledger. And when you get that Jack Sparrow, it's the same thing. And I feel the same way about the Inart Gandalf figure and even the Aragorn. It is crazy sick.
Yeah. There's so many like really good things like happening right now when it comes to six scale and all these companies. It's just like it's really exploded because like I mean my first one was a New Hope Leia back in 96 to 2016. I'm
Got
confusing
her
Power
too.
Force 2 now.
She's right there at the fingertip.
Yeah, like that's one that I'll always have on display, never get rid of. That's just like such a special figure for me. Um, she was my first one, like, and it always starts at one and never ends with one when it
And you
comes
still
to like,
got her?
oh yeah, she's been consistently on display since then. I've never like moved her out of like I've taken her out and reposed her and stuff, but I've never put her. Usually with my DTOFs, and I just did a Hot Toys video last month showing like my updated collection displays. I have 3 DTOFs currently like in my collection room. I got one unassembled that I've never assembled out in the garage, but I don't have room for it in my collection room. I just wanted to get one while I could. But I have she's one that's always been in there. Like other ones I've taken out and rotated other figures in there, put newer releases in there, pulled some out, put some back in. But Leia is one of the few that's been consistently in there since 2016.
So you have to wonder, Victoria, are you going to get the 2.0 Artisan A New Hope Leia? And what say you?
I say 100% absolutely.
There you go. You know that they're doing that. It's kind of funny. I'm waiting. I am seeing all these 2.0s, and you know that they have all these aces up their sleeve with everything A New Hope original trilogy with these 2.0s. And they know. They put out like any of those, Obi-Wan, Leia, Han, Luke, artisans like that. They're just going to be insane. But how crazy is it if they do those in artisan? And the fact that they're going to be limited. They do that with this Leia. They'll certainly, I think, offer it in a sculpted version. But you know that they'll have an artisan. Will be limited to however amount of pieces it is. And then the sculpted, they just won't tell you. But this figure is absolutely still insane in the secondary market. It just is. It is a grail. But you talk about an artisan version of her, it'll be far less production than this was produced at. And is it possible it'll be double the money, like, $800 to $1,000? And I say yes, right before it comes out. So I wouldn't even miss my pre-order on that, or I would certainly get a different pre-order if I couldn't from Sideshow, because I think that that's where these original trilogy figures would go. Honestly,
That would be cool. I mean, if imagine if they did them all at once, like Artisan, A New Hope, Luke, Leia, and Han, like just all at once. Imagine an Artisan Chewbacca, like what that could be like. That could be like a
but
whole other level.
we kind of almost have that, right, in a way, because that Chewbacca and C-3PO they're coming out with
Hmm.
is kind of like Artisan, but it's not. They're not calling it Artisan because it's not rooted, but he has the wool hair,
Yeah.
that special hair. So maybe they could do one special with that. Well, it's only the return of the Empire Strikes Back. Excuse me,
Right.
Chewbacca. So maybe they do that with the A New Hope one. I don't know.
Yeah. 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 It'd be interesting.
Return of
Thank
the
you,
Jedi.
Marina, for that. We appreciate that. Um, yeah. So I guess let's talk. Let's talk Revenge of the Sith. Right. Revenge of the Sith. I love Revenge of the Sith. Like I've gone on record saying before, and I go back and forth. It just depends on the day. I've said before that Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I've also said that Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. I go back and forth. I love the two of them. I love all of them, but I love like those two in particular. Like those are just, I love
They're
both of those
amazing.
films. They're amazing. Revenge of the Sith celebrating its 20th anniversary. Like we said at the top of the show, it's crazy. It's 20 years. It's 20 years, but I hope that there are some big things in store for this particular anniversary because there's like I talk about Hasbro all the time, and Hasbro is kind of they don't do a lot for like prequel anniversaries, or at least they haven't so far. Hot Toys has been a little bit better. Like Attack of the Clones, they did a pretty respectable number of figures in honor of that anniversary. Same for Return of the Jedi, they did some stuff there, but Revenge of the Sith, like that's the one that I really hope all of these companies go big on, and Hot Toys is no exception to that. So, will Hot Toys celebrate Revenge of the Sith 20? What does the Dark Jedi say?
I say, heck yes, and I have some thoughts. Some of the stars are aligning for some of the figures you're all looking for. When you have her on, Amy Allen, in March, I think it'd be prudent for you to ask her, put her right on the spot and say, hey, what is Hot Toys coming out with your Ayla Secura figure? Because you have to ask yourself, is it possible that they're going to give you Ayla Secura with this 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith? And I say yes. That's one that I think is coming.
Oh man, that would be incredible. I mean, and it's not too hard to believe either because they've done, Plo Koon recently, Kid Fisto, both of those are up for pre-order. They did Mace Windu, which Mace Windu is more of a heavier hitter, obviously. And I guess you could say, well, Kid Fisto and Plo Koon are, they have masks. There's not much of a likeness there, whereas Amy Allen, Ayla Secura does have more of a likeness. But it would still, it's definitely seeable, right? Because if they're highlighting some of these Jedi, and I love when they do that. Any of these companies do Jedi figures because they're just cool. They're cool, right? We want more Jedi. That would be a really, really awesome one to see. Like out of all the random Jedi they could do, like that for sure would be my number one pick.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about Plo Koon and you talk about Kit Fisto, who's already on waitlist. So as weird as that sounds, Kit Fisto's already on waitlist. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go that is going to be gone over the next 90 days that people are going to be like, what the heck's going on? But you're going to get even more. It wouldn't surprise me if we get up to 140 maybe announcements from Hot Toys in 2025. I'm calling it that it's going to be very, very close, between 130 and 140 announcements. But you hit it on the head with Kit Fisto and Plo Koon, because Ayla Secura makes a ton of sense, and they can go ahead and also give you Key Addy Monday, because it was big, big parts. Plo Koon, of course, blew up during Order 66. You remember in his spacecraft. Unfortunately, Ayla Secura as well. She went down. Key Addy Monday. It was all very sad. He went down. I say Key Addy Monday is coming too. As a matter of fact, I really believe Howard and JC Hong and Hot Toys have been setting collectors up with this Kit Fisto, with this Plo Koon, to kind of throw out, a lot of this stuff. Because I know a lot of us were thinking about the big three and about the main
Mm.
characters for Revenge of the Sith, but I really think they're going to go Jedi heavy. And you're going to see Key Addy Monday and Ayla Secure. I really, really do. And I have some other thoughts on this, on what we're going to get. Um, but I absolutely think you're going to get those two for sure.
Yeah, those would be awesome, and I would say both of those would I believe would outsell Plo Koon and Kit Fisto.
I say yes. I agree with that. Um, but I'll tell you another interesting thing I think they're going to do is you're going to be seeing, I believe, the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith unveil 2.0, uh, 2.0s, kind of like they did with one figure with Darth Maul with the 20th anniversary of the Phantom Menace.
Hmm.
And I am putting everyone on alert to keep a lookout. It's within the stars for a 2.0 Count Dooku and
Ooh.
a 2.0 Mace Windu. Probably going to get, a
Mm.
slightly battle damaged Mace Windu, and one you're going to be able to get finally with Purs. I think they're going to do that. And I think your 2.0 Count Dooku is a possible with the Christopher Lee, that they're going to give you an artisan version that you're going to be able to get as well. And I say artisan Count Dooku is coming.
Oh wow. Yeah, that would be an unexpected but very welcome one. I mean, I have the previous one. He's not bad. His likeness is outdated. Um, it was great for its time. But
Hmm.
I think it could be better at this point. So that
Compared to
would be
the ones
something.
today.
That would definitely be something to see.
Yeah, I really do. I think you're going to see. I think they're going to capitalize on Count Dooku. I definitely think they're going to give us uh, another Mace Windu with that as well. I really, really do. And
Mm,
I think you're going to get Yoda
yeah.
with rolling eyes per his function, and they'll say that with a little bit of hair that Yoda has. Maybe they will call it rooted, kind of like Idar calls that little Henry Cavill little sliver on the angry head sculpt for the Henry Cavill Superman, rooted hair. Maybe they'll do, with the, I don't know, the small amounts of strands of hair that Yoda has, they would do the same thing. I was
Oh
thinking
yeah.
about that actually.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think you're going to get him too.
So tell us about the crystal ball power rankings over on Six Scale Cantina. With we're talking about Rangers of 20. There's some pretty notable characters on here. Tell us a little bit about how the crystal ball power rankings work.
Well, the crystal ball power rankings, there's some wizardry involved in that, and some otherworldly, powers that kind of, give us a little bit of clairvoyance and foresight into what may be coming. In six scale collectibles, in this reality, in this dimension at this time. And if you go to sixscalecantina.com, you get to vote on these as well. When you go down this list, I think there's 42. It continues to grow. So you could go right on sixscalecantina.com and not only vote on which one of these, I think you get to put in up to, 10 votes So you can vote for different ones, or if you want to, throughout the month. But every month, we'll see what the power rankings, wind up for all of February here in just a couple of weeks. But there's a little section on here as well, where you could just kind of fill out this form and say, "Hey, I think that Sebulba from the Phantom Menace is coming," and then and that does make sense. So if somebody votes that in, or enough people do, it'll make it up on this list. But that's the Crystal Ball Power Rankings. Everybody gets to participate. You get to vote on these that are pictured here. If there's something that makes sense, not like SpongeBob, I'm not going to put it up. You can put in the form all you want, but if you put in something that makes sense, and it'll make up on this list, and this list will continue to grow. But that's what this is: the Crystal Ball Power Rankings, the figures that collectors feel are the next ones coming in 6 scale.
Right on. No, that's really cool to know. And
See a
like I
couple
said,
up there. You're 1 and 2, Victoria.
yeah, let's talk about those. So Revenge of the Sith 20, the number one ranking here, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Here he looks like he's in his Darth Vader mode. Dark side Anakin. You mentioned the that artisan Anakin, any day now he should be hopefully coming. I was very, 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 very fortunate, and my wait list converted for this guy.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like that was I mentioned I was bummed out about Jack Sparrow, but like honestly, like Anakin would have been the one artist, and I would not have wanted to have missed out on, because he's my favorite, and like I had to have this. I was like, to say I was bummed out when I didn't get him initially, like, would be an understatement. I was slightly devastated. But thankfully my wait list did convert within like a 2 or 3 weeks of the pre-order, the initial
That's
pre-order.
amazing.
Yeah, and I know a few other folks that happened for as well at the time, but yeah. So anyway, any day now, I'm excited for whenever this drops, or we get the blogger photos and stuff. But yeah, the demand is still there. This was a small artisan like batch that they're doing, but people still want Anakin. The last one they did was nice, again, nice at the time, but doesn't really hold up, all these years later. It's time for a 2.0. I'm honestly a little surprised that they announced the first artisan Anakin without a 2.0 like they did with Joker. It was like there's a 2.0 or 3.0, whatever it was. There's another Joker coming out, but also the artisan. So you have options. They did the same with Loki, right? They did the same with Jack Sparrow. But Anakin was one that it was like, well, there's only the artisan. There's not a 2.0 of Anakin. It's just the artisan. So I'm surprised it's taken this long to not have gotten confirmation. But the only thing I could think is, well, they've been waiting for 2025. Here we are now. Revenge of the Sith 20. He's got to happen.
I with a little wizardry and a little help from the 13th skull, baby. When you look at the trends, what did they do with the DX33 artisan Joker before they even came out with the artisan DX33 2.0 Joker? They said, let's use that head sculpt since we're going through the tooling and give you a Batman imposter version. As a matter of fact, all those Christian Bale bat suits that we have all the tooling on, let's spray paint it, these crazy colors, and let's put an artisan head sculpt on there, and let's come out with 3,000 of those. And they went ahead and they did that, and they would actually have to do even less work with this, because they don't have to spray paint anything. They don't got to change almost anything. As a matter of fact, the only thing that they would really have to change is the nameplate on the base and those purrs. Just take those purrs and put in ones with the Sith eyes, and it is just so easy for them to capitalize on producing another 3,000 of these. It's just going to happen. They even started this with the Clone Wars General Obi-Wan Kenobi, Victoria. They put that out, and right when they put that out, they gave you the Mandalorian armor disguise. Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi that was in like the Clone Wars for, I don't know what, 15 seconds. I don't know what it was. It wasn't very long. It was one episode. So with something like this, which is more iconic by a million times than that Mandalorian disguise Obi-Wan, with something like this that is also a million times more iconic than a Batman imposter version, Heath Ledger, which wasn't even in the movie. This is, when his eyes go like this, a moment, and there are many moments during Order 66 when it was executed. But there's not a chance in the 13th Skulls universe that they're not doing this. This will come out for the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. And just like that Obi-Wan and that, Batman imposter Joker, they're going to do this and give you further evidence. They did this years ago with the Revenge of the Sith Anakin. They did the same darn thing. History has a tendency to repeat itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, to me, this out of everything, this makes the most sense for Revenge of the 20 from Hot Toys is getting the Chosen One himself back out there again, some way, somehow. Probably just a 2.0, like you said, an updated, and maybe it could be. I know the last time around there were, people were unhappy that they did both the dark side and the regular version. Like maybe there could be a DX that has light side and dark side. Interchangeable portraits, hairstyles, whatever, just to kind of create more of a definitive sort of general release. I think that'd be pretty incredible.
Well, let me ask you this, Victoria. What character, if you have this on your shelf and it has, and you say you have it pre-ordered, and it has, and not even talk about the dark side one here, which I think is coming, but the regular one, what character from Revenge of the Sith best pairs with this? I will tell you, in Attack of the Clones, it was Padme. But what character best pairs with this from Revenge of the Sith? Come on.
This guy right here.
And you have to wonder, in order for Hot Toys to make this work, for me, don't give me just the sculpted hair version, which a lot of people are going to want of this. But if I'm going to be showing people in my collecting cabinet, look, here's this, I don't want to say here's this one-off Hayden Christensen with this hair. I want this also right next to him. And I think that this is the big, speaking of big enchiladas, this is the big figure coming for this year. Is people are going to be very, very surprised, just like they were with the Tom Holland, Iron Spider from Infinity War artisan version, and just as they were with Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight artisan. These short hair figures are going to be shocked, awed, and just stunned when they see an Ewan McGregor artisan edition Obi-Wan Kenobi Revenge of the Sith. This will be one of the hottest ancient action figures that are sought out in the history of collecting. Everybody and everyone is going to want this. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be limited to 3,000 or 4,000 pieces, and that's it, probably 3,000. And, people are wondering why some of these prices for these artisans, like this Jack Sparrow, like this Joker figure, even though you got the in-art Joker figure and you got these figures and that figure, they're going for $1,000. Can you even imagine what Hayden Christensen, Wonder Woman right now, limited to 1,500, is going for $1,500? What is this?
Oh, wow.
What is, that figure just went insane. What is this going to go for? What is that Hayden Christensen one going to go for? But make no mistake about it, the stars are aligning. This is coming this year.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see that this is going to happen. I mean, it just makes so much sense. Like, how do you not do this and do an Anakin this year? How can you be on the council and not be a master? Like, it just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so those
So
are the top two.
yes, and one that's not on here that I think is coming from Revenge of the Sith. I think they're going to go in on this line a lot more than they did on the Phantom Menace, because I think they got tooling. I think the Jedi for Revenge of the Sith is too easy. They've already got tooling for Dooku, Yoda, and what's that other one there that I was talking about? Gosh, it's escaping me. But what's his name?
Mace Windu?
Chancellor Palpatine.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that because I actually have 3 pictures here that I don't have the level of insight that your wizardry provides you, but I have 3 picks here that I've pre-selected, that I feel pretty comfortable saying that I could see Hot Toys doing these. I mean, I don't know that they would, but okay, that was the first one that sprang to mind because I can definitely see this.
Yeah, how good does this look if you're putting out an artisan Anakin that looks like that, and then they're going to be putting out that dark side one? I mean, I think this would be great. This is right before, they gave us the Emperor already for Revenge of the Sith. It's already on waitlist last year. Go figure. But I think they're going to do this.
It would be so cool. Like the Clone Wars one, like that they did recently. Like, I love that figure. Like, it was one that when the pictures first came out, I was like, okay. I mean, I'm a huge Darth Sidious Emperor Palpatine fan. Like, I love that character. I love Ian McDiarmid and his portrayal of that character. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, pre-ordering, obviously. But I didn't expect that when I actually got it, how much I was going to love it. But when I got that figure in hand and opened it up and put him in the display, like, I freaking love that figure. So, like, this, I might even love even more if they actually did it.
Can you imagine putting in a DTOF or in a diorama? Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No.
I have Anakin sitting there with his artisan, and then having freaking Chancellor Palpatine. I would just lose it. I mean, those are kind of figures I would spend on this just to recreate that whole scene. And then if they give you a battle damaged, Mace Windu, then that goes right with what you're talking about here. I actually could see them doing this again. If it was way back and they had to produce 20,000 of Chancellor Palpatine, don't know if it's a good investment. But what they're doing right now, yeah, I think they can. And they can reuse it for Clone Wars and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. This would be cool. Let me show you my next one to see what you think. All right, so I have another one here. I mean, I don't know that this is the version that they would go with. It's kind of hard to say because, well, I guess let me pull up the picture first, and then I'll speak more. I'll speak more to that. But here she is.
Spice Runner's asking about rooted beard, Aries. Sorry, guys, I can't type all that much, but good to see you all. Yeah, rooted beard. I say yes, Spice Runner. I think that Hot Toys and InArt, well, InArt's already doing it with the Gandalf, but yes, it could happen. I don't know with that Obi-Wan if they would do it. I'd like to see it. Yeah, this is a great question. Notice I didn't mention her. So I hope and pray that they would do this. I think that they would. Do you think that they would reserve because she was pregnant in the entire movie and they didn't want to do the whatever, I don't know, body or clothing in that way. But honestly, I think this would be absolutely fantastic. The hair would be perfect. The whole figure would be perfect. I honestly think she is the second best character to put with Anakin, which is kind of funny because she's Anakin's, they're together. It's just that Obi-Wan and Anakin tension and what turned into Darth Vader is why I say that that's the most dynamic pair. But what do you think about this, Victoria? I'm going to ask you.
I mean, I feel like you can't go Revenge of the Sith 20 without Padme in some form. They did the Attack of the Clones. They included her there. And I mean, I think if you're talking Queen Amidala / Padme, like across the entirety of the prequel trilogy, I feel like Episode 1, like her initial Theed look with the red gown with the lights on the bottom, like that would be like probably the one I'd want to see. But focusing specifically on Revenge of the Sith, I mean, I don't think she has like she has like defining looks in Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, right?
Right.
And they did Attack of the Clones, like they did that outfit. For Revenge of the Sith, there's not like a one specific outfit I feel like that defines her character through the whole movie. Maybe the closest we get, like you're saying, is the one from the very end of the movie where she's very obviously pregnant. Is that something they would do? I mean, I have no idea. I don't know that they've ever done a pregnant figure. I don't think they have. I will say that Hasbro made that figure back in 2005, and it wasn't a big deal.
Well, I would hope that they would. Is my I agree with you. I think you need her in all three of the films. Now, is there even a chance that they do this, Victoria, that they don't do it artisan?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, for a character like Padme, especially if they did design her like pregnant and in one of these like outfits, like more niche outfits, I guess we could say. I feel like I could kind of see it being an artisan only because you'd want it to be limited. It might be a little more risky to put something like out there as a general release, perhaps. So in that sense, I could see it being more limited and perhaps being an artisan.
Yeah, I honestly think with just about almost every Padme that they're going to come out with from here on out, I think it is very possible that you will get an artisan version with an accompanying sculpted version. I mean, her outfits, her hair, I mean, it just rings Hot Toys. I mean, just look at this is just from the neck up and look at how magnificent it is. I mean, this would be, in my view, a showpiece from Hot Toys. And I really think we're going to get hit with a ton of Padme Amidala and a ton of Queen Amidala. So I say yes on this one. And again, we're almost like they're going in on this line, Victoria, like the Ahsoka series line. But I'm going to say it this way, and I hope it doesn't come across wrong. All respect to the Ahsoka series, great series, but this is Revenge of the Sith, and I think if you could dive deep into that, you could certainly dive deep into one of the greatest Star Wars movies I think of all time in Revenge of the Sith. So I think they can do it. I think they are going to do it because I don't think that there is a show or a movie, last time I checked, from Star Wars this year, that's probably going to be on the magnitude of that Ahsoka series that's going to create that many figures.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have one more I want to show you. Let me pull that up.
What is this? Drum roll.
All right, so the last one I want to show you that I think could be a very good possibility, just based on their track record in recent years, is going to be it's a character we already looked at if you want to speak technically, but it's this fella right here.
My goodness. And if I had the clip, I would play it. But is it possible that they call you the wizard? And I say yes. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with this. The battle damage Vader that everyone went crazy over that's up right now of Hayden Christensen. That's not tied to any movie. It's just a really cool looking figure. That's going to go on waitlist any day. And you have to wonder, Victoria, once that goes away, is it possible that they are absolutely going to give you another full Hayden Christensen head sculpt, but the Revenge of the Sith version?
Ooh.
And I say, you're the wizard. Because they're going to do this for sure.
That would be incredible. I mean, now that we know how awesome they could do something like that with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series Vader, which is a miraculously incredible figure. And that's not even to mention the Force Unleashed version that's going to be coming later with the completely removable helmet. But Revenge of the Sith version, like, and this suit, this Vader suit, is it has some very unique attributes, just like the A New Hope one is fairly obviously to us anyway, stands apart from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The Episode 3 Vader suit also has some very unique qualities about it that differentiate it from the others. The symmetrical helmet, the larger, baggier like bodysuit, the wider gloves. So I mean, I'd go in on an Episode 3 Vader, like, especially if you're saying like it had, if it had a removable helmet, like for me that would just be like, boom, done.
Well, let me ask you a question, Victoria. What's going to make them money? And I think it's a couple things. It's not only star power from figures from a movie, but it's actually characters from a movie. But it's also pieces that are compatible with other superstar pieces that make sense.
Yeah.
This hits it on every level. This is iconic. This is why you went to see The Revenge of the Sith if you were a casual fan. This is the main reason you want to see that helmet. You want to see the return of Darth Vader. How do you even celebrate Revenge of the Sith without this guy? And they're not going to have it compete with the battle damage version, which is awesome, which I'm getting that figure. But that one's going to go. It's been up for a while. It's about hit its life cycle. It's going to go on waitlist. It's going to be on the market show over the next month, whatever it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see them announce this. They'll put them up at the same time because you saw when they came out with that artisan Scarlet Witch or Black Widow or Loki. They had 1 million of those ones still up. It doesn't really matter, on Sideshow, whether it's pre-order or not. But I really think that that's what they're going to do. I think that there was a clear, I don't know, stopgap or just what do you call it? Just kind of a pause, a commercial break with that Mythos one, because they're absolutely planning this. Now, the question I have for you: how deep do they go into this? Do they give you a Super DX version that has the whole charred body? Do they give you that whole 9 yards? Do they, how do they give you the medical chamber? What do they do?
Gosh, I mean, Vader's a big figure, right? Anyone that has a Hot Toys Vader, he's big, he's heavy, he's a little bit clunky, right? So I mean, me personally, I don't think I would need or necessarily want like the whole operating table. I mean, it would be cool to see, sure. But I would be open to a DX version, perhaps, where you do have like the charred body before they put him into this suit. I think that could be interesting. I feel like I'd want to see it though. Like if I had the armored one on display, I'd want to have the other one on display too, just to see the two of them. So that would be another thing to work through. How do you display him if he doesn't have legs, right? How does that work? Does he have like a display base? Does he is he like is there like a waist grabber or something that just hovers him above your shelf? Like I mean, I have a bunch of questions, but it would be interesting to see how they would pull something like that off.
Well, I'm going to give you some honorable mentions here because it's easy tooling for them. Shiny C3PO, Revenge of the Sith. You're talking about Padme. You're talking about Mace. Okay, I would think they're going to give you those. Remember, Padme was also, when Obi-Wan visited her, C3PO. What about R2D2? So R2D2, especially the was it the Attack of the Clones one? I mean, it's just going for just buku bucks. So would they give you another R2? Do they give you another C3PO? The reason why I would say yes on those, that is just such easy money. R2 you already got. You just say it's R2. You make it, you only come out with so many. C3PO. Everybody's looking for the New Hope one. Well, I think the Revenge of the Sith C3PO is as close as you're going to get before you get that. It would be very, very shiny. And I could see them giving you the droids.
That would be something. So you're saying shiny like this fella right here.
Take care, my little friend.
Yeah, yes. And I want to remember what I told a lot of people that watch me and follow me. I said you were going to get a dozen versions of C3PO within a couple of years. Well, we're well on the way. Is it possible that we're going to be getting one from Revenge of the Sith? You have to wonder, but it's just too easy. And it's like, because people have asked, oh, why did they come out with only a little bit of the Attack of the Clone ones? How are they making money? I said, listen, they're just spreading this out. They're going to come out with 50,000 of those C3POs. They're just going to package them in different packages and put a little different paint here and there. They just did that with the Christian Bale armor with the artisan head sculpt with the kit bash of the Heath Ledger Joker. They're just going to be doing this over and over, and they've already got Darth Vader tooling. It's going to be the same Darth Vader, pretty much that's coming with the. Go take a look at that battle damage Darth Vader. It's going to be very similar to this one, and they're just reusing a lot of the tooling.
Sure, yeah, that'd be something. I mean, for them, it seems like Vader is just easy, right? It's an easy thing for them to do. They do some retooling, they do some re-engineering here and there, and people buy them, right? I mean, people are always going to buy Vader. It doesn't matter what the company is, what the format is, what the scale is. Like people are going to always want Vader. So very, very, very doable, I believe.
Can you say Spider-Man and can you say Iron Man?
Yeah. How many dozens upon dozens have they done of those guys? Previously, by my count, unless I'm forgetting something, and I'm not talking about like battle droids or that could fit into any of these prequel films, but previously there have only been two, again by my count, Revenge of the Sith figures. There's been the Obi-Wan we talked about earlier, which was also available in a DX version that had like the holo table, I think, that where you put the hologram of Anakin and Palpatine, and then it had the baby Luke Skywalker, which I think that's probably the most adorable Luke Skywalker figure ever made. And then they also, of course, as we've been talking about as well, they also put out previously the Anakin figure, which was
two of them. Yep.
Two of them, yeah, the regular version, the dark side version, and of course, the artisan version that we're patiently waiting on to finally get its release. So that's just, if we want to break them up, okay, we could say 4 figures, but it's really just 2 characters, right? There's a lot
I
of
think there's one
room.
more.
Oh, which one's that?
I think Cody. Cody is one. Revenge of the Sith.
There you go. You're 100% right. They did. Yeah, Commander Cody is. That could be a re-release. I mean, that could be an easy one for them to repackage and make some tweaks, and that people would, I think, would buy. I mean, based on what the aftermarket prices are on that one, I think they could probably bring that back with some tweaks.
Would they artisan that one, Victoria?
I don't personally think so. But hey, who
It'd
knows?
be hard, but I guess they could. But yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
it would be
They
interesting.
didn't do. Oh, well, let me ask you about this one. Out of all of these figures, the one that I really want the most, besides the Farm Boy Luke, you know what it is. I mean, Bail Organa. Where is Jimmy Smits? Where is Bail Organa? Is it possible that we finally get him for this? That'd be a great artisan figure too.
That'd be an
I would love
interesting.
it if they did it. I would love if they did it, but honestly, they could they could use him. He was in obviously Revenge of the Sith. He's in Attack of the Clones. He's in Rebels. He's in the Clone Wars. He's in Rogue One. He's in the freaking Obi-Wan. He's in a lot. Just make them already, because then they could like give you different versions, a couple thousand here or there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love it.
Yeah, no, it'd be really cool. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I'm expecting that they are going to celebrate Revenge of the Sith 20. I think Anakin and Obi-Wan, those seem like no-brainers. And then some of the other ones that we've been talking about as possibilities, I think those would make a lot of sense. But I will be asking, when she's on, I will be asking Amy Allen about Ayla Sakura, see if I mean, people sign off on likeness rights for this stuff, right? So maybe she'll I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely we'll try. We'll ask. All we can do is kindly ask.
Give us the whole Jedi Council. Give us all the Jedi.
Can you imagine that they could do Yaddle and Yariel Poof and Sassy Tin and
Oh yeah.
Oppo
Didn't
Rancid.
they already tease? Didn't they already? Maybe I'm losing my mind. Didn't Hot Toys already tease Sassy Tin? Or I could have sworn it's not. I think it's actually they're coming soon.
I think they did, right? Is that one of those that they teased like maybe a few years ago and they showed like one picture of it and they never followed up on it? It could be something. No. I'm lying. It was
recent, I think.
It was recent. It was like just a part of the silhouette. You're 100% right.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that they did. So, and I'm losing my mind. Was she in Revenge of the Sith? I'm losing it now.
Who?
Sassy Tin or wait?
Yeah. Sassy Tin was one of the Jedi that Chancellor Palpatine cut down.
Oh, okay. So now wait a minute. So I got Sassy Tin.
Ooh.
Kit Fisto. Who's the other one that he cut down? Well, didn't Plo Koon blow up in a ship?
Yeah, you're right. Oh no, Aegon Kolar is the other one that Palpatine cut down.
Oh right, all right, okay, yes. Wow. Well, then maybe they give you. Wow, maybe they give you all of those.
There's so many options that they could. There's so many ways they could go. Like, man, I see several folks have joined in recently. Welcome. You're here with the Dark Jedi and me, and we're talking Hot Toys, Revenge of the Sith 20 possibilities. But Spice Runner made a good observation that we forgot about Grievous. Grievous is also from Revenge of the Sith.
Well, and he is coming out soon.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and they put him on pre-order last year, along with the Emperor or Darth Sidious. So I'm wondering, is there some type of obviously they could do General Grievous again, like they did Dark Empire Luke. They could do a What If. They could do Imagine. They can do animated series for sure. Could they do a Battle Damage, Victoria? I'm trying to remember the scene. I've seen it 8 million times, but when like Obi-Wan did him in, but could they give you like
the flames coming out of his eyes?
Yeah, could they do like put this on wait list and then all of a sudden, by the way, here to celebrate Revenge of the Sith, here's a battle damage Grievous, and you buy another one. I could see them doing that, honestly.
That would be funny.
Um,
Yeah, a convention exclusive or something.
a convention exclusive with that. Listen, Bail Organa, very, very important.
I
He
mean, the
took Leia.
father of
I mean, he kind of, Obi-Wan took Luke and
yeah, I
Bail
mean,
Organa.
yeah, I mean, he's a surrogate father of Princess Leia. I mean,
I'd
why
love to
not?
see that.
Bail Organa, and then you know, who else? Why stop there? They could also do like odds and ends, like some of the other senators that we saw in the movie, or like some of the alien senators. Um,
Viceroy Gunray.
that would be fun.
Didn't Anakin cut
The
him off?
separatists, yeah,
The Separatists. Yeah.
yeah. Newt Gunray's like, no, no. Um,
Oh man. I
Wat
did.
Tambor, Wat Tambor.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That'd be fun.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna surprise. They're gonna do typical Hot Toys, and we're talking about all this Revenge of the Sith stuff, and you're gonna get a Queen Amidala from Phantom Menace, and you're gonna get Obi-Wan Kenobi from Attack of the Clones with the crazy '70s hair. That's what you're gonna get. That's what we're gonna get. That's gonna get that artisan, and then we'll wind up getting a Bespin Han out of nowhere.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Please give us a Bespin Han. Please give us. Forget.
Please, yes. I mean, they teased that one a long time ago, like 7 years ago now.
Oh, yeah, they did, and I think that that's coming. But you know what? A lot of collectors keep asking me about. Especially with these beasts and these vehicles that they're coming out with. So if they could do a Tauntaun and they can do Luke and they can do Han, and you know how like they I just think it would just be such those sideshow pieces are so coveted. But can you even imagine that if Hot Toys would do that with the Hoth Luke and Hoth Han? That would be just so amazing.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Well, Aries, this has been a fun talk. Absolute blast. An absolute pleasure to have you back on.
So much fun.
We have one more segment though.
Okay.
This is a segment I always end with, right? And this is this is a Cantina favorite segment. This is new acquisitions. These are things that have been added to my collection recently. And if you have anything as well you'd like to tell us about that you've added or show, you're welcome to do that. And as well as anybody in the chat, any new acquisitions you guys would like to share, type them into the comments. I will call them out. But yeah, this is our final segment here. This is new acquisitions.
Good. New acquisitions.
It's great.
All right. So Aries, I always let the guests go first. Is there anything you want to tell us about that you've, or show us even, that you've recently acquired into the collection?
Well, as you all know, if you didn't, go ahead and check out my review. I got a lot of views on it, but the DX39 AE Jack Sparrow, looking right at that right here, is absolutely amazing. So that is a recent acquisition. You could probably see the lightsaber right behind my hand, and it's lit. That is the you could see Obi-Wan kind of see if I can move him a little bit. There you go. There's Obi-Wan. You could see my finger right there. The DX26, absolutely amazing. Of course, I got the Joker up in there. So yeah, those are kind of the real recent ones that I got. I am looking to get my next figures that I'm going to be getting in is that Scarlet Witch Elizabeth Olsen artisan figure. Let's go. That is due out any minute. Going to be getting that. Obviously, the Anakin artisan, that's supposed to come out any minute. And I got some good news because, kind of like you did, Victoria, with that Anakin that your waitlist converted. I don't even know how this happened. This is going back about maybe, I'd say, 5 weeks ago now. Dark Empire Luke, I missed out on it. The artisan version. And all the versions are on waitlist on that figure. And out of nowhere, 5 weeks ago, I got your waitlist converted. I'm like, well, what?
Nice.
So I honestly did it within that minute because I figured that would just it wasn't going to be up, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that I was able to, secure that. And that one's another one that's going to be coming out rather quickly. I think the only other one I'm looking at right now is that Darth Maul that's going to be coming out. So that's kind of what's next. What's on my list?
Nice. Well, those are good ones to look forward to for sure. And again, I am tremendously envious of your Jack Sparrow artisan. I was trying to find videos on YouTube the other day, like of anybody comparing the DX39, the artisan, with the DX38, and nobody's done it. I just want to see them side by side. But nobody's done it because I assume if you got an artisan, why would you want to get the DX38? It doesn't really make sense to do that.
The head sculpt is just next level, no matter what version you get, and they did a good job on all of those versions because you still have, I think, some wool hair pieces on the one that you got, right? Or was it the completely sculpted?
No, I haven't opened it, but yeah, I think. But so what I was doing is I was I have it boxed still. It's still new in box. I haven't opened it, broken the seal or anything because I was still kind of hoping that I could get in on an artisan. Like I was on the wait list through Sideshow, but then I'm looking at the eBay prices, $1,000, more than double its value, its original retail price. I mean,
it's crazy.
Like it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. So I'm probably just going to open at some point. But yes, to answer your question, I believe it does have some soft. I don't know what it's made of, but it does have some soft hair pieces on over the sculpted hair.
So I think you're going to be just so excited over that. It is absolutely.
I think so too.
And I'm glad
I have the previous one that they did, the Dead Man Tell No Tales, the previous one from a few years back. Was it the DX15 or I forget what number it is, but I parted with it in light of this new one. So yeah, it's an upgrade either way, right? It's a consolation prize, but it's an upgrade either way. But yeah, so my acquisitions, I'm going to jump over to my Instagram and kind of show off what I posted lately. So for me, we were talking about the Vintage Collection Rebels figures. I adore these. Like I said, we waited 10 years to get these, and it took the HasLab Ghost to make it happen. But now that I have them on the shelf, like it's just completing the crew. Like it's such a satisfying feeling when a toy company completes the crew and you finally get the whole crew, right? And sometimes, like I said, it takes forever for it to happen, but in this case, they completed the core crew from Star Wars Rebels, and they're just so fun. Most of them are exceptional figures. They're just an absolute blast to look at. And I can't ever see myself taking them off the shelf because I just love, I love seeing that little group together.
Well, it's about time because they certainly released this. I remember whenever it was for maybe 5-6 years ago with the Black Series, the Rebels, right? So yeah, I mean it's about time.
Yeah, for sure. In addition to that, I did get the Flash Batman.
How do you like it? Tell me about it.
Oh, he's great. There were people joking online that he looks like Christopher Walken and he looks like Clint Eastwood and this and that. And I'm like, when you have him in hand, like he looks like Michael Keaton. He looks fabulous. The pictures don't do this. This is one of those where the pictures don't do the figure justice. When you have it in hand, he's perfect. Like there's nothing I can complain about with this figure. He's just perfect.
He looks a little like me. We share a little bit of gray, I feel a little bit like Batman. I need to suit myself. No, I tell you, I looked at a lot of videos on this, and I'm hyper impressed with this figure. So
Yeah, he's
that's
really good.
awesome.
He's really good, and I love that they included the little display stand for the cowl. Like, that's just a little
Oh
fun.
yeah, look at
Yeah,
that. That looks great.
yeah, it's neat. With the cowl on, he looks fantastic
Oh
too.
yeah, look at that.
He's got
Wow.
the PERS system for the eyes, interchangeable. Like I think he's got three. I think it's three lower face plates you can use.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean he's great. And then of course he has the interchangeable like glider cape. And I put it on one like quickly and I took a couple pictures and I'm like, okay, I can't display them, so he's not gonna stay that way, but I reverted back to the regular cape and that's where I have him now. So yeah, I currently have him. So I put him with the Batman 89 and the Batman Returns. Um and I intended to post a picture of that on Instagram and I just haven't gotten around to do that, but it looks cool having the three like suits all in one spot. I also got the Supergirl.
Oh, tell me about that one because
Oh
I'm
man.
really close to getting that one.
Oh man, she's good. She is really, really good. I'm sure you remember when she first got announced. Some people were being atrociously like horrible about how, I mean, she did
You're
not
not
look
falling
good.
for it.
It's not a secret. She looked bad. But people were getting very personal, like, and getting
Yeah,
political about it and just
ridiculous.
horrible, right? But
Well, I knew this would come out like phenomenal, and I was telling people then I said, "Listen, Hot Toys is going to this Sasha Cali is going to be such an amazing figure, and if you really wanted it and you're concerned about the figure, it's going to be low production anyway. Like all these other figures, like that Michael Keaton one is low production. A lot of the Flash figures, including the Flash, is going to be a low production figure, and then now
mhm,
she's going for a lot of money already in the secondary market. I think the last I was looking at this, she's pushing $400 a pop, even
wow.
more to get her right now.
Yeah, Charlie says 550 or more.
Okay, so it's five. Okay,
That's
I was
nuts.
being conservative. There you go. So it's. Thank you, Charlie. I mean that, and that is a stellar figure. And I'll be honest with you, you're seeing the same thing um, with a lot of these figures. You're going to see it with Darth Maul because it was an extremely low production, and you're starting to see that a little bit now. You're even starting to see some sellers like your typical Toys for Adults Tim Sense run out of it, right? You're seeing it, so you're going to see it with that Maul. It's going to be crazy. You're seeing it with Bane
Yeah.
from the third movie of the Nolan trilogy. You're seeing it with Padme. Okay, and they produced even more Padme, I believe, than this. And I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you, I feel like this figure, along with She-Hulk, because it has the hair, I absolutely believe they are going to give you an artisan exclusive of this. And I'll tell you why. They know that they can move easily 3,000 of her, and they can reuse everything and go ahead and go through the rooted hair technology because the head sculpt turned out to be absolutely unbelievable. The suit is great. I think you're going to get that, and She-Hulk with the hair, so easy. And that figure's going for $500 in the
I know.
secondary market as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I really do like the suit. The suit is it I don't know what they did different, like the technical aspects of it, but the it's very like workable. It's very like user friendly, like to poser and stuff in that suit. It doesn't feel restricted, it doesn't feel tight. It's something that seems a little unique compared to what
Mhm.
they typically do with this kind of an outfit. But yeah, no, she's solid. I'm really happy with how she turned out. And I have her with the Warner Brothers 100 Wonder Woman and the Justice League Superman. They're all in one little. They're all together, which works. Snow Trooper, so the vintage collection, latest wave. I got that a few weeks back. I might have even mentioned it on the last show, but I got around to opening it, and brand new Snow Trooper. It's one of the biggest selling figures in a long time from the vintage collection. Brand new sculpt. It's a fantastic figure. It's a 10 out of 10. It's just exceptional. Um,
Looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those you can't buy just one. You want to build a little army at least. Um, I also mentioned on Instagram that Hasbro is for this case, the case, because I buy the case assortment from Entertainment, so I get the whole wave all at one time.
Oh yeah.
They've switched to a different kind of shipper box. Previously, they would open along the top of the box. Now they're opening on the sides, and I assume that they did this to mitigate the something called the ring of death, is what the fans would refer to it as. And what that was, Aries, is the you have the cardboard on the figure, and then you also have the plastic bubble with the actual figures inside. Um, Previously, a lot of people, myself included, were having issues where the plastic bubble would rub on the card inside these boxes and leave a ring that people were calling the ring of death. Um, and that seems it seems to me that that's why they made this change to mitigate that from being an issue.
No, that's good.
Yeah, so it's notable that this is that it comes that way. So now you get like a long wide box instead of a tall vertical box. I think that's all I have on Instagram, but I do have two things here. And as much as I'm here saying, yeah, downsizing, not collecting as much. Good luck, right? I have two things I want to share here. Because I got Thrawn, probably been a couple of months now that I go. I think it was probably early January I got Thrawn. Somebody did a review of the Captain Enoch from Hot Toys, alongside Thrawn, alongside the Night Trooper and the Death Trooper, the Night Death Trooper, whatever it's called, Zombie Death Trooper. And it just looked phenomenal. And I already had Captain Enoch in order. I had Thrawn. Well, now we have the Night Trooper.
Ooh, look at that.
Yep.
Look at that.
I have not opened it. Here's the proof. It's perfect. I can never fold these the way Hot Toys does it from the factory. So there's the proof right there that I haven't even gotten into it yet. Not only that, once I saw this video that I'm telling you about, or I wish I remember who the reviewer was. I would definitely mention who they were. I'd have to go back and look. When I saw his little detolf where he had this one shelf with Thrawn, Enoch, the Night Trooper, and the Zombie Death Trooper, I was like, that looks great. Like, that looks like really, really cool. I'm going to have to go back and see who it was so I can name drop them next show. But when I saw that, I was like, I missed out on this initially, and I had no plans to get it. But once I saw how great that looked, I went to eBay. I got the best deal I could find from a reputable seller, and I went ahead and added this guy to the collection as well.
Oh, there you go, girl. That is phenomenal. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks cool. Again, here's the proof. I haven't gotten into it yet, but yeah, it was sealed case and everything, so it's not like pre-owned or anything. It's like brand new. It even had, like, I guess he paid for the seller paid for the extra. You can ask for an extra box from Sideshow and they'll charge you for like an extra fee. So even that was factory sealed. So it's like completely brand new. And I don't have Enoch yet. I'm still, I think he got pushed back or something, but they haven't shipped into me yet from Sideshow. So once that comes in, I'm gonna go. I just redid the detox a month ago, but I'm gonna go in again and clear up some rooms so I could do exactly what I saw in that one video, because that just looks so good with those four.
Wow. I mean, that is impressive. And I can see a lot of the joy in your commentary on that. And that's what it's all about. I mean, if we could figure out what brings us joy in this hobby, and that encompasses everything with figures, toys, that's what it's all about. And then, yeah, I mean, never get frustrated with the hobby. You budget where you can, and you'll find, if you really dig deep, you'll know what you really want. Like for you, I could see, like you mentioned in the beginning, what lanes you want to be in, and that's where you're collecting, accordingly, and I think that's at, appropriate. And I think that's what we all got to do at the end of the day. And as you adjust, like you're talking, vintage collection, if they start doing other things, or HasLab or Hot Toys or InArt, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, I really want that, I can't afford that. I don't know about you, but there have been some things. You mentioned the Black Series. I was the same way. I was really hot and heavy into it, and then I just kind of lost interest. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong if you lose some interest in a line, or in an IP. It just means you're maybe running out of it at that time. Go ahead and sell it, because it's not bringing you the same joy. But then you can get that money and you can use it for the things that are making you happy at that moment. And that's why I always tell collectors, um, you're not investing in this like it's a 401k or like it's a house.
Right.
Absolutely, it's not. Okay, these aren't bonds, things of that nature. However, you do want the things that you are spending money on. You want them to retain some type of value and be able to help you be able to move, if you want to move, to get into this or get into that. So I think it's very, very important to always pay attention to the markets for that reason. So if you ever needed to sell some things, you can. Or if you
Mhm.
ever wanted to sell some things, that you
Yeah.
can. And even more importantly, that you just know what the price for these things are, so that, like you said, I don't want to spend $1,000 on this artisan. I'm glad my waitlist converted, or my waitlist didn't, convert on the Jack Sparrow, but I'm happy with my DX38. Then, if you're up to date on all that, you can make sound decisions like you have, Victoria.
Yeah, that's sage advice, and I do try my best. Um, as far as new acquisitions from the audience, this is a good one. Spice Runner says my waitlist converted for Anakin tonight.
Which Anakin, like the artisan Anakin? Are you? I
I
just
think
spilled
it
my
would have to
coffee.
be. Yeah,
Spice Runner, come on!
that is excellent. That is excellent, excellent, excellent. Congratulations, Spice Runner. That's very happy for you that happened. It took a long time, but I mean that worked out in your favor that he's not out yet, right? Because your waitlist converted. Eric says I got tech and special edition John Wick Hot Toys today. Very nice. Those are good acquisitions.
Great, Eric. Yeah.
David Matthews says I got Luke Skywalker, Farm Boy, Anakin Skywalker, and Indara. So I'm assuming these are vintage collection, because that's the wave that just came out about a month ago or so. Charlie Unicorn got the InArt Superman. Okay. 112 Fighting Armor Punisher. Last week was Hot Toy Solo Range Trooper. The Range Trooper. That's another one that I have. I'm making payments on that one, but they sent me an email, I think earlier this week, and it said, "Hey, do you want it now? Like, just make the rest of the payment." I'm like, I do want it now, but I'm going to be patient, because there's these other things. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait a couple months to get that one in hand. But yeah, congrats, those are.
Yeah, I want that InArt Superman. That's awesome.
Yeah, incredible. Let's see. Darshan says, last week at the swap meet, I came across a mint Jurassic Park Dinosaurs mint Pteranodon and Compsognathus pack with a loose The Lost World Junior Rex with cast for $20. Wow, that's a good little set there for $20. That is for sure. Allison says, new arrivals to my collection are all vintage, mint in sealed box, speeder bike, Ewok catapult, mint on card Tebow, and a bagged one. For Hot Toys, all I've added are hopes that may be dashed on the Roxo wait list. Well, setting positive vibes at those, at least one of those or some of those work out for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Charlie said, okay, so we talked about that. Supergirl 550 is the price it's going for. Trevor says, picked up an Imperial Cruiser Hallway playset finally. On sale. PS March Madness bracket reveal live stream tomorrow at 5 Eastern Standard Time. Yep, those are the that's a SWTVC who's doing the March Madness. We talked about it last month. We're trying to hype that up a little bit. And they're doing their stream to reveal the brackets tomorrow. So Aries, that's the community, the vintage collection community. a group within the community, SWTVC. They put on this March Madness style bracket thing where people vote on the action figures they want from Hasbro, and then they compile all the data, and then they put the brackets, and then people do March Madness voting throughout the month of March until they get down to a winning figure.
Wow. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. The things people do in these communities, like it's pretty great. Adam says, I got my vintage collection Anakin, A New Hope Luke, and I picked up Ahsoka's T6 Starfighter from Micro Galaxy Squadron. Very nice. Very nice, Adam. Let's see. TJ Lewis has got the new TVC Wave from Entertainment Earth. It was in stock, so I was able to use your code Victoria to save 10%. Awesome. I'm glad that worked out for you, TJ Lewis. And thank you for using that promo code. And I'm glad you were able to save a little bit of money on that. When you're talking a case of TVC, you're talking about $135, $140. Like that 10%, you know, it's going to be noticeable, right? That's going to be like what, $13 or so. So that's a pretty good little savings there. All right, and I think that is all of the new acquisitions as far as I can tell. Cool. Unless I missed anything, I'm going to look back up here. And no, I think I got everything. If anyone has any lingering acquisitions they want to mention, drop them in. We will call them out. And yeah, on that note, 10% off if you use promo code Victoria on Entertainment Earth. It's just my name, Victoria. That said, upcoming shows. Next Friday we'll be here. We will be here on the week after that. The show should continue pretty consistently and uninterrupted between now and there is one evening in March, I believe the 28th, where the 28th where I won't be able to do a show. But other than that, between now and then, a solid 5 weeks with shows. And even if I can't do a show that Friday on March 28th, I might still be able to pull something earlier in the week. Maybe a Wednesday night show or a coffee hour, Cantina coffee hour maybe, on the 29th perhaps. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. I'll fill you guys in as the time draws closer. But yeah, I am very, very excited. There's a lot of stuff coming out. We got the Hasbro stream on next week, coming on Wednesday. We'll see what they announce for TVC or Black Series or both. I do hope they continue to re-release more Cantina characters to fill out these HasLab Cantinas that are coming, even if they're reissues or retools or repaints. Some of them were exceptional and don't really need to be updated, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But yeah, we will definitely be back next week. And we'll continue to have a good time. And Aries, I want to thank you again so much for coming back onto Cantina Social Hour and hanging out with me. And I've said this before. I never anticipate that a show is going to run for 3 hours, but this one's just about there. So thank you so much for bearing with me and for hanging out for this length of time here on in the Cantina.
You know, let's not wait as long for the next time. I love it when I'm able to come out of here. So thank you so much. Honored that you would think for me to come on here. I had a blast, and I love talking collecting with you and with all your fans here.
Absolutely. No, it's been great. And I'm glad we were able to get you on. Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. And as I was just telling the audience, every now and then, every now and a blue moon, I also have a show that I occasionally do. I think we've done like two episodes of a Cantina Coffee Hour. The only difference is these are on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
It's when I can't do a Friday night show and I can swing a Saturday morning show. That's when I'll do a coffee hour. But it's very rare. But maybe next time, we know you like your coffee. I like my coffee in the morning. Maybe coffee hour will be an opportunity at some point.
Count me in. I'm always up for a good cup of coffee.
Awesome. Love it. And just want to mention one more thing. Peak OB1's acquisition, A New Hope Luke, and a Vintage Collection Muff Tack. I think it's Muff Tack Funko Pop, which is the Cantina character. But everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really, really, really appreciate you spending your Friday night here in the Cantina with us. You Cantinians are amazing. Thank you for bearing with us, and for some of you have been here since the very beginning, and you know, tremendously appreciative and grateful that that you're here hanging out with us and helping to make this show special. It's special because of you guys, and you guys make it what it is. So thank you. If your interactions and your commentary and your own involvement in this show wasn't there, then it just wouldn't be the same. So thank all of you very much, especially our regular Cantinians that are always with us, like Mary, like Adam and Dodgson and Pico B1 and Trevor and I'm sure I'm missing some of you, but all of you, thank you very, very much. And be well, be safe. May the force be with you, no matter where you're tuning in from out in the galaxy. I want to thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. Be kind, be safe, spread positivity, spread love, and spread hope for a better tomorrow, always. I will see you guys next time. Aries, hang tight for just a moment. And everybody else, thank you very much. I will see you next Friday, same time, same place, and I'll be looking forward to it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.